We're gonna try.
So talk directly into your mic.
All right. We got backup.
There you go.
Okay. If you can raise mine just a little, if possible. Thank you. We got Commissioner Everett on the phone yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our workshop. Thank you for coming. City Attorney, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
City Clerk,
Yes, sir.
City Manager,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Everett on the phone. Commissioner Everett, are you ready? Thank you, sir. Commissioner Bowden,
Yes, sir.
Vice Mayor Mervin.
I'm ready.
Okay, we have a quorum. I call this workshop of Tuesday, June the 11th, 2019 at 6:02 p.m. to order. May we please stand for the invocation given by Deacon Bob Colvin, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, tonight we're thankful for our city. And God, again, we ask you, Lord, just give our commissioners and our mayor and all those that are involved in the leadership of our city, give them your wisdom, we pray. And God, we pray that all things will be done in order as they should be. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Babb, before you begin, Mr. Coleman asked the next time you do the invocation to stand behind the podium because they cannot pick it up when you're standing out in the audience. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Babb,
Present.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett, Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill, Vice Mayor Mervin,
Present.
City Manager,
Here.
City Attorney,
Here.
City Clerk, present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, staff. And thank you, each of you all for being here tonight to participate in our workshop of Tuesday, June 11, 2019. The purpose of this workshop of the Pahokee City Commission is being held to discuss the June 11, 2019 agenda. I do apologize for the speaking. As most of y'all are aware, I underwent surgery just this past week, 4 hours of surgery. My teeth are wired together, so I'm going to do the best I can. And if I can't make it, we have a capable vice mayor that will step in and continue with the meeting. So at this time, we're going to have our city manager kind of lead us in the discussion of our agenda items that we'll be discussing tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Commission, citizens, visitors, first-timers. Thanks for coming out to our workshop and commission meeting. Mayor, Commission, we have a very thin agenda. We do have one addition, and that's will be Resolution 2019-30 is in your packet. Outside of that, we have presentations, two businesses of the month, the lawn of the month, and then we have one presentation, public-private partnership, Project Green Tone. And of course, we have the mayor's report, city manager's report, city attorney's report, if there are any, and any updates on the marina lease. And that's it for the agenda. Mayor, if it pleases, if you want me to give you a brief update from the city manager's office, I can. Also, if you want to look at the resolution as well briefly here, we can have a discussion about that, just for some clarity on 2019-30.
Okay, prior to your update of your report, I'll just ask the City Commission if there are any questions that you would like to have a preliminary answer to prior to our regular scheduled meeting. Let's take care of that and take care of agenda items that you may feel you want some preliminary discussion on. And I start with Vice Mayor Mervin. Any questions pertaining to agenda item?
I have no questions at this time.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Bowden?
I have one question about the 2019-30 resolution. In the second paragraph, it says about housing. And then on the city manager, on your biweekly report, it said housing and economic and housing. So is it housing or is it economic and housing?
Well, it's housing. Also consider housing a part of economic development as well. We certainly want to explore workforce housing there. And as you know, when you say workforce housing, that kind of spurns its way into economic development for professional workers. So it's kind of some of both. But right now, this resolution says housing. That was directed given to the city of Pahokee for to the state. That's what the state requested. But once the deed release restriction is done, of course, we want to do development of housing and any other additional explorations of economic development as well that can accommodate or complement housing as well in this area.
Okay, so do we need to add economic so that when they approve it or whatever they do up there, that it doesn't just say of new housing?
I don't think that's necessary for this resolution. I think we'll be just fine once the deed restriction release is granted to the city of Pahokee. We'll be just fine.
And the deed restriction won't be that it's just for new housing?
Excuse me?
When they release it, the release won't be just that they're releasing it for new housing?
They're releasing it so we can have the ability to develop it as we please. Right now, we indicated it's for housing, but it doesn't limit us to housing.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Everett, have any preliminary questions on particular topics on the agenda for the city manager at this time?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Again, Mr. City Manager, before you go into your report, just a few questions. At our last city commission meeting, we indicated, and you may have this already in your report, indicated a planned town hall meeting. Have we selected a date, and what will be the primary topic of the town hall? I know we'll discuss some other issues, but I think it's always good to have a primary topic that citizens can begin to formulate some of their questions or concerns on those particular items. So have we scheduled a town hall meeting?
No, Mayor, the city hasn't scheduled one. That's really the priority of the commission to provide me some availability. I did request that everyone provide me some availability of dates. I think I got one so far. So the city hasn't scheduled one, officially. And then we didn't know what the subject matter should be for a town hall meeting. So it could be general.
Yeah,
I mean, you can kind of ask questions on a variety of topics, or you can get specific about a project or et cetera, or something like that. So we need a little bit more direction before we could, begin advertising for a town hall meeting or something.
Okay, Commissioners, what we want to do, hopefully, during our regular commission meeting is to go ahead and select a date for our next town hall meeting. I think it's really important that we try to meet on a quarterly basis to keep the community informed on what's going on in our community and give them an opportunity to ask questions and voice concerns.
Thank you.
And I know we're having budget workshops coming up pretty soon, but one of the items that we did discuss is a quarterly financial I'm not sure if we're gonna actually be doing that in our regular commission meeting or have just a
No,
workshop for
a
that.
regular financial update, you can do it at commission meetings. It would have actually been done tonight. I brought the information to give to the commission, but the director is out actually at a conference until tomorrow. So we'll do it at the next meeting. But the
Okay.
information is already available.
Okay, so
Yep.
we just publicly announce the date as our next commission meeting. We will have included in that a financial report from our city manager slash finance director, if she's going to be involved in it. Thank you. I think at this time, city manager, you can proceed with your manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. Phase 2 of the marina repairs and renovations, actually, that begun today. We're pleased to see that project finally beginning. We know we are on a tight time frame to get it completed, but the company selected, the general contractor is out there today. His workers were just commencing today, actually, and then there's some more engineering designs we have to do for one particular part of the public side for the sewer line. The engineers say they will have that ready for tomorrow, so that's good to hear. So they've gotten off to a good start, phase 2 renovations, and they're moving very rapidly, getting their subcontractors in place. So we feel that we will but we will wrap this project up quicker than the first one. As you know, the first phase 1 was a challenge. We started with one contractor, and we had to go out to multiple contractors to get the job finished. But with this particular contractor here, we're very confident that they will complete the project to our specifications and timeline. So we're excited about that. Fencing around the football field, that contractor will begin next week. They're on a current job right now down in, I think, in Broward County, and they said they'll get to us starting next week. Monday is what he said. And so that we're excited about that project as well. Soccer field, there's I think some conversations about in-play soccer here at the current field. We're putting in a strategic plan to design a specific area for soccer at any time, access at any time for soccer. We've looked at one particular playing field at MLK Park. It's a perfect area. It actually provides us more space for that type of sport in MLK Park. So we've already began the initial process of preparing that playing field. We've already, I think as of today, we've ordered all the equipment, and it'll take a couple of weeks to get in. And throughout that time, we'll continue addressing some of the field issues that were not really issues, but that particular grass there was being grown freely, and now we have to make it to playing a field that you can actually play soccer on. So that takes a continuous landscaping of that particular field to a certain length where they can play on it, and they've been doing it every day. Public Works has been working on it on a daily basis, but there's some fill-ins that we have to do to even it out, and so we'll be working on that over the next several weeks. Looking at that particular area and understanding that environment of soccer, it provides so much more than we thought it would based on space, parking. There's no fence. You can free play it at any time you want. It's not restricted as far as the football field that we have now, which we know closes at a certain time of the day and opens back up. So we're excited to see what the end product will be for that soccer field once we finish with it. So I know there was a lot of questions about that, where we're going to play soccer and why wasn't this field designed for multiple play, which it wasn't. But we knew that would be a question moving forward, and that's why we had a plan. We just needed to ensure that we had selected the right spot for that. And I think once we're done, our soccer enthusiasts will be, satisfied with what we prepare for them over there, for sure. And not to mention that we eventually in the fall, we'll have some additional renovations coming to MLK Park to enhance that area as well for recreational activity. So we're pleased with what we're going to provide for our soccer enthusiasts and players.
Also, City Manager, as a long-term plan, I would hope that we would continue to look at a plan to allow soccer to be played on the new field. I know it's going to be some restriction, there should be, but there should be some type of protocol, whether there need to be some application completed or some type of process done, where, for instance, maybe they want to host a tournament there or something. I don't hope that whatever we do is not a total exclusion from soccer being ever played there. We want to include the community, but there has to be some type of structure there. Anyone just can't walk on the field and decide, you know, we're going to play here today, but they should have the ability through proper channels to use the field. Not only them, but just the general public in general need to know if they're having an event, how can they use the field, whether it's a charge or not. I'm not going that deep at this point, but I really want to make sure that we are open, you know, to the community as much as possible on the use of our fields and amenities that we provide in our community.
Okay.
You can continue.
Oh, okay. I thought you had another question.
Right.
Sorry. I was trying to say some for my
No problem.
regular meeting, but
I
summer
don't know
enrichment
that-
program started yesterday. We had about 70 kids registered. That's I think we had maybe 50 last year or something like that. We have about 70 kids registered in our summer enrichment program. We're still they're still kind of straggling in. We started off with about 45 yesterday, but we had officially 70 registered last week. And so any parents that are coming after the close date will actually have to pay a minimal fee, because, as you know, the summer program is free based on the grants that we get for summer programming. But it has a cutoff point of the amount of kids that we can have in based on the ratio to kids for the grant specifications in the Department of Health. So we have to be careful about that. But great start to the summer enrichment program. We have a robust, field trip program planned for them, and the parents seem satisfied so far. I was there yesterday, and I was here today, kind of looking in on some of the academics, because we do academics as well. So good start to the summer program here in the city of Pahokee. So we hope that we continue to grow that program, because we know at one point that we had lost a lot of the support for parks and recreational programs, and now we see that attraction coming back to parks and recreation as the amenities get better, as we work on the gymnasium. I don't have an update on the gymnasium with the county, but as that gymnasium gets repaired and we can open a gymnasium as well, I think we'll continue to bring back some of the support and the activities that were lost because the facility was closed for the last 12 years. So we're excited to see the interest, and we hope that the quality programs that we're producing, that the parents and the community would be satisfied with them.
And I'd like to ask a question concerning the splash pad. I think the last time I got an update, it was waiting on a timer, but you also indicated that the week after school was out, that the splash pad will be open and operable. Is that the case at this
The
point?
splash pad is open and operable. They haven't put the new timers on, so we have to manually run it, but it's fine. It does work, and we will have it on. We actually had it on today. No one came out, but it was on. And it'll be back on tomorrow. If it's no rain, we'll turn it back on and we'll run it. But we're still waiting on the sensor timer and the overall engine timer that comes on at 10 a.m., shuts off at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and then the actual touch timer that comes on that you can kick it on like every 10 or 15 minutes after it goes off. So those two timers are not talking to each other right now. And so the electrical engineers are trying to figure out why not. Because those are two parts no one thought we had to replace until we fixed everything else. And then we realized that those timers were not set appropriately. And then they realized, well, let's just order new ones. And so that's where we are. But we can run it manually, and that's what we're going to do.
And if we can just put that announcement up on the marquees that the splash pads is open. I think part of it, they probably haven't gotten out to the community that it's available for their use now.
We're still working on July 4th fireworks. We're planning for that ongoing. We're going to have another great event as usual. I think we're going to have a little spin on it this year. We have some additional vendors out there. I think our movie night sort of gave us some additional ideas for the 4th of July on the lake. So we're going to try to add a different twist to it this year for 4th of July. And hopefully, the community will be pleased with what we provide to them for 4th of July activities. So after the barbecue at your house, come out to the marina and enjoy a good fireworks show. I do believe there'll be some food trucks there as well. I just don't know how many and what type, be it dessert or regular, general food items. I'm just not sure yet, but we are working on that.
And the mail chillers, the additional sign, do we have any projection date on when that may also be put up? I know Ms. Darbro have been asking on social media. I just felt, you may have been responding to it, I'm not sure, but if we do have a date or some type of time frame on the possibility of that being completed so we can just continue to move forward.
No, I have no new information on the mail tiller sign. I know there's some additional logistics that goes into zoning and right of way because it's on the opposite end of East Main Street. So there are some things that we have to look at more carefully, some of that state road as well in that corridor. And so it's such a small space. We think we have an idea where the next one will go, but we just, I haven't gotten an update from building planning and zoning on what they've recommended to me yet. So I can follow up with that and get an answer to the citizen that's asking.
Right. And commissioners, I know Vice Mayor Mervin brought it up. I brought it up a few times. It was my desire to honor Anquan Bowling also in some form or fashion with some type of signage and a recognition day. So at our regular commission meeting, if a commissioner can put that as a motion, I would like the city to start planning and working towards that end. Doing some recognition for him. I know during the graduation, again, he had given $10,000 to a deserving high school graduate. Not only does he do it here in the city of Pahokee, he also does it in Belgrade also, and that's on a consistent annual basis. So.
Mayor, if I can say, I wasn't really referring to just as a sign, but just as an honor, because, our city is a small city. And if you keep riding through every intersection, you're going to see signs of people. I know it's okay to honor them, but to me, when you go to sign, you might see, welcome to the city of Pahokee, welcome to the city of Belgrade. Just as something of showing, I don't think it has to be no sign, I don't, but I think just as an honor to, for the work that he does do in the city of Pahokee.
Yeah. Okay, we can look at that. I know it was, my desire to do the signage. I know at some point you're right. You have to have some cutoff, and it shouldn't be so regularly. But I don't think anybody can argue that as far as giving back to to the community, he's have to be number one in that area. So it would be, my desire to at least honor him in that manner. But as we move forward, I definitely think you're correct on that. We need to limit it and maybe do some other type of honor other than a lot of the signage. Any additional questions from the city commission? Hearing none, at this time, we will adjourn our workshop and reconvene in 3 minutes. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. City Attorney, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
City Clerk, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
City Manager?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Everett?
Commissioner Everett?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin?
Ready.
Have a quorum. I call this City Commission of the City of Pahokee regular commission meeting of Tuesday, June 11, 2019 at 6:31 to order. May we please stand for the invocation given by Reverend Margaret Smart, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Gracious God, Father of us all, we give you thanks and praise for this day. We thank you for the rain that we've had and for the sunshine today. We ask you to be with each one of our commissioners and our mayor, our city employees. Help them, Lord, to do what is best for this town. Help them to know what is needed without any harm given to anyone in our city. We ask you to bless each citizen here and for those that are out there listening to this program. And bless each one of our commissioners and our city mayor and our city employees. In Jesus' holy name, amen.
Amen. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mary Bab,
Present.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill, Vice Mayor Mervin,
President?
City Manager,
Here.
City Attorney,
Here.
City Clerk, present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, staff, and thank each of you all for being here today to participate in our regular Commissioner meeting of Tuesday, June 11, 2016. Apologize a little for the speaking ability. Just to mention again, I had a 4-hour surgery this week. My mouth is closed. I'm eating with a straw. A young lady saw me at the pharmacist and called my brother and say, you need to go and pray for your brother and visit him. He's losing weight and he can't talk. I don't know what matter with him. So it was just an update. As we indicated in our Commissioner workshop earlier, we have a short agenda. We're going to get you out here on time and not delay anything. So we'll move right along with our agenda. First call of business is the additions, deletions, and approval of the agenda item. City Manager, at this time, do we have any additions that's been added on?
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 2019-30.
City Commissioners, any requests of additions or deletions? Hearing none, I'll now entertain a motion to approve our agenda with the add-on of Resolution 2019-30.
Everybody, I make a motion to accept the addition, deletion, and approval with the add-on of the resolution 2019-30.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden that we adopt our agenda with the one addition of the resolution 2019-31. 30. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The motion to adopt our agenda passes by a unanimous 5-0 vote. 4-0, with Commissioner Hill absent. Citizen comments must be agenda item only. City Clerk, At this time, do we have any citizen comments card completed?
No, sir, not regarding agenda items.
Thank you, ma'am. Next on the agenda will be public service announcements. You also must have a public service comment card completed. City clerk, at this time, do we have any citizen public comments card completed?
No, sir, not at this time.
Thank you, ma'am. Approval of the minutes of May 14, 2019, Commissioner Workshop minutes. We also have our regular scheduled commission meeting minutes of May 14, 2019. In addition to that, we have a special meeting minutes of May 30th, 2019. City Commissioners, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I make a motion to accept the approval of the minutes, May 19, 2019, commission workshop minutes, also May 14th, 2019, regular scheduled commission meeting, and May 30th, 2019, special meeting minutes.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden for the approval of the May 14, 2019 Commission Workshop Minutes, the May 14, 2019 regularly scheduled Commission Minutes, and the May 30th, 2019 special minutes, meeting minutes. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Boland?
Yes.
Commissioner Everett?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. The minutes of the various meetings has passed it by a 4-0 vote. Now we'll move to our consent agenda item. We don't have any consent agenda items. We don't have any ordinance. We do have an add-on resolution, Resolution 2019-30, City Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Resolution 219-30, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the city manager to request that the Board of Trustees of the Internal Improvement Trust Fund of the State of Florida provide the city with a release of deed restrictions for the property described in attached composite Exhibit A, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. City Commissioners, haven't had Resolution 2019-30 properly read into the minutes. What's your pleasure?
Mayor, I make a motion to accept resolution 2019-30.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden for the adoption of Resolution 2019-30. Call for questions.
I have one. City Attorney, I know I asked this in the commission meeting, or in the workshop, but I'm still a little confused. So if you could just clarify this for me. This is asking for us to have the deed restrictions on that property lifted, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then in the resolution, it says that it's for new housing, and it won't cause us a problem, if I'm correct, that's what I understand from the city manager, that it doesn't say economics, but in his report, he had economics and housing. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear which one we're getting.
Sure, the housing language is the language that's used within the comp plan. That's what the state wants the reference to be. And I think that the manager, as he explained before, added economic development in his report because he believes that this will spur economic development. So, but we have it correct in the resolution, and that's what the state is asking for.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? Hearing or not, hearing none? At this time, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes?
Commissioner Everett,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution 2019-30 passes by a 4-0 vote. We don't have any public hearings. We don't have any proclamations. Now we'll move into our presentation. Businesses of the month. This month, Commissioner Vice Mayor Mervin selected the 2 businesses. Just a tradition each month, we identify 2 businesses in our community, and we continue to ask the community support for these various businesses. So we're gonna have Commissioner Mervin just give some preliminary on the 2 businesses, then we'll go downstairs here and present the business of the month to the 2
Mayor
businesses.
Bab, thank you. The 2 that I chose, so I know we done did pretty much every business in the city of Pahokee. So what I did was we went out a little further and chose some organization that's also does community efforts in our community. And the first one is Pahokee Deliverance Christian Center, which is an after-school program, also is a summer camp program. And as we know, that program is funded by the Early Learning Coalition and is ran by, the Pastor Willie Hickman and Brenda Hickman. And we have them here with some of their students today. So, and the other one, we have also Balanced Living Mentorship, who is ran by, Mr. Hakeem Banks, and also that also partnership with Anquan Bolden. So, but we'll have them tell a little there when they get up. So, if we could do the Pahokee Deliverance Christian Center.
First Lady, if you would. Oh, we want you up here. You make my photo look better. This first business is a business that does an outstanding job working with our youth as well as our young adults. We're so honored on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, Vice Mayor Clara Mervin, Commissioner Regina Bolden, Commissioner Bennett Everett III, Commissioner Felicia Hill, along with our city manager, Chandler Williamson, and our entire city staff. It gives us great pleasure to present this certificate in recognition of your outstanding work in this community. And as the Vice Mayor indicated, it's not only just businesses that provide food and clothing and other services, but businesses that work with our community. And we want to recognize you, and we want the community to know that you're here and the outstanding work and job that you do. So at this time, we'll have our Commissioner Bolden actually present this certificate to you, and after that, we'll allow you to say a few words of introduction.
Okay, it says, Business of the Month. This certificate is awarded to Pahokee Deliverance Christian Center Incorporated of Pahokee, 168 East 4th Street, Pahokee, Florida, 33476. In recognition of outstanding service to the community, presented this 11th day of June, 2019. Keith W. Babb Jr., Regina Bolin, Felicia C. Hill, Clara M. Mervin, Benny L. Everett III, and Chandler F. Williamson. Congratulations.
And the First Lady just recently opened a smoothie shop, Great Street. Her husband is always in the schools working with our young school-age children. So we're just so delighted that we're able to recognize you at this time. I don't know if we have anybody from this. Oh, wow. Absolutely. Look at the sign. We're so pleased. Thank you all. Thank you all. I don't see our official photographer here for the city, so we'll have the First Lady say a few words on behalf of the
Okay, yes. So first of all, we just want to say thank you to the City of Pahokee. We really appreciate you guys recognizing us. You know, it's great to, see someone that sees your hard work and potential. We love working with the kids. Our job is to, this is our future, our youth, and what we instilled in them now is what they're going to have later on in the year. So thank you guys so much, and we really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for the work. Okay, I think we. Okay. Thank you. We'll have our next business come forward, Balanced Living Mentorship Program. This young man and his group has no need for introduction. They are staple in our community, and if you keep up with social media, you probably have saw a lot of posts that they do. He take them out of the area to various schools and other activities. These young men are standing. I just recently retired a little while back, and I'm committed to making sure I attend some of your all session. I talked with our city manager, kind of slapped them on the wrist, but I know I've been slack. But now that I'm retired, I know that you meet on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock, and you will see myself there on a regular basis. I think my brother, the Bishop Babb, he attends sometimes. So, I mean, we're really excited about this program and what you all do to influence the lives of our young men. And I believe now you're also working with the young ladies in addition to the men. And that's take a lot, for someone to take the time to steer our children in the right direction. And he's a Christian, but as all Christian, we was all once a sinner, and this was a bad boy here one time. He don't want us to remember that, but boy, he talking about somebody that really turned his life around, and he didn't turn his life around and continue walking forward. He's reaching back every day. So we're gonna just allow our Vice Mayor to kind of say a few additional words about this particular group. And before she do that, on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, Commissioner Regina Bolden Vice Mayor Clara Mervin, Commissioner Bennett Everett III, Commissioner Felicia Hill, along with our city manager and our entire city staff. Man, we are so proud of you all, each of you all, and thank you for everything you do.
And just to piggyback a little bit off what the mayor said, that was another reason that I chose this organization, because you see them in the community, and also not only do they just talk it, but they live it. If you talk to some of these young men, you could tell that they have been in this group. They carry their mannerism is very up to par, and I appreciate it. I've been watching, and that's why sometimes I would come and just sit out in the front there when y'all be inside. And I'd be jealous sometimes. I've been following it live. I asked Hakeem, can I come? He told me no. But but I tell you, he not only here, he takes them to football, he takes them to church, he take them, and he come all the way from Port St. Lucie back here to take these guys with him. So I really appreciate it. And like I said, also Anquan Bolden also is one of the key players in this group also. So I say thank you. So the business of the month, this certificate is awarded to Balanced Living Mentorship in recognition of outstanding service to the community. Presented this 11th day of June 2019. The protocol's already been read, and I would like to say thank you.
Thank you. Just want to say thank you to the city of Pahokee, to the commissions, to the community people. It's an honor, to get noticed by your community. It should be just more than me up here. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, that work hard, that's dedicating their finances, their resources, their times, and more so I'm proud of these kids. Man, we have a group of 70 or more kids every Wednesday. We're doing the summer enrichment program, which is a credit recovery program that allowing the kids to come back and recover some credit grades, or even if they're in good standards, they're able to take electives with us in the program. And we just did a tour from Georgia to South Florida. And just to say, we had about 6 or 7 scholarships offered. So that's an opportunity for kids to go to school for a ride for the parents. This young man right here, he's been in the program for a while, and he just got his first opportunity at University of Troy and University of Valdosta State. This young man right here, he's committed to FIU University, FAU. This kid right here, just to not to point him out, but this kid right here, he's been playing football for about 3 weeks. And right now, his mom and dad don't have to pay a dime for school.
Wow.
This young man right here, he don't need no introduction. He left me. He's up in Bradenton at IMG Academy, $8,000 a year to go to school there. And he's one of the kids that was selected to go there. This young man right here, University of South Florida. And this young man right here, the next time we talk, he's going to have somewhere to go to school. So it's just an honor and a privilege.
Okay, Commissioner, we're going to go ahead over down here and do the lawn of the month. Not only do we have a nice certificate, we got some cash money for the lawn of the month. And it's just always a pleasure and an honor to recognize a resident who has the lawn of the month. Not only does the lawn increase the particular resident value in their home, but it also helps their community value. That house is sold, your value now goes up depending on the selling value of that property. So we're so happy. We're gonna ask Mr. Clinton Martin, I don't know if Sheila Martin, and Mr. Martin, I think they put several people on their check so you don't spend all the money yourself. If you would come up. We got Sheila Martin, Clinton Martin, and Helen Martin. I guess they all put a little green thumb on that lawn. You know, Mr. Clinton, you know his cleanliness in this community just spent over years. I remember when he just used to be just a volunteer on the on various boards. He get on us about the condition of the city. He argued too, but he put his efforts into cleaning up. So we're so proud of you, Mr. Martin, and we want to recognize you and your family. The lawn of the money is here pictured on our screen. I don't know who you got helping you, but we all may need to have them pitch in and help us with our lawn. So at this time, we're gonna have the vice mayor give the money and the Commissioner Bolden give the certificate. So before they do that, Mr. Martin, on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, Commissioner Regina Bolden, Vice Mayor Clara Mervin, Commissioner Benny Everett, Commissioner Felicia Hill, along with our city manager Chandler Williamson, and myself as mayor, and our entire city staff, man, we congratulate you for your hard work on this wonderful, beautiful lawn.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Let me read it. It says, Lawn of the Month. This certificate is awarded to Sheila Martin, Clinton Martin, and Helen Martin, 1690 East Main Street, Pahokee, Florida, in recognition of beautifying the community, presented this 11th day of June 2019. Keith Babb Jr., Regina Boland, Felicia Hill, Clara Mervin, Benny L. Everett III, and Chandler Williamson. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, wait a minute, you gotta get your money. Wait a minute, you gotta get your money. You gotta get your money.
Oh,
But I don't think it's fair. They have the Sheila Martin on here and not your name. I don't think that's fair, is it?
no. Well, my name is on this.
Okay.
Right.
Well, again, on behalf of the city of Pahokee, it's just a token to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
very
all
welcome.
of you.
We don't have one restriction that we ask that you spend some of that money in the city of Pahokee in some of these businesses here. Thank you.
It'll all be spent here in Pahokee. So I've been here in Pahokee since 1950. 1950. I came here in November of 1950. And I've been here ever since. And every nickel I've made and spent, I spent it right here.
Thank you.
And I thank all of you. Thank you very much. Thank all of you all. Thank you.
Okay. We have one more on our presentation, the Public-Private Partnership Project Green Tone.
Yes, my name is William Dunston, D-U-N-S-T-O-N, and I am with a firm called Green Tone N.A. LLC, Florida Corporation. We have a presentation. As soon as it's keyed up. There we go. I'm not going to read a lot of this to you. It's a long presentation. I'm going to try and run through this so that you can get out of here early enough, but we want you to understand why we're here tonight. Obviously, you know what your name is supposed to be, but what is your future? What is Pahokee's future? Is it sugar? We drove in massive fields, obviously a major part of your economy. But the economy is changing, and it's important that you understand that opportunity is knocking here for Pahokee. And one of the reasons we say this is because last year, the Farm Bill ended prohibitions in the United States on the growing of hemp and CBD oil. And this is an opportunity for the state of Florida, the city of Pahokee, to look at taking advantage of these new and emerging economic markets. Today, over 60% of the U.S. population lives in a state where marijuana is legal for medical purposes. 1/3 of the total population of the United States lives in an area where they can get recreational marijuana. Tax revenues have gone through the roof. Colorado did not expect the kind of money that has come in from these funds. In 2016, the sales grew by 30%, and they're projected to reach $20.2 billion in 2021. I suspect it's going to be even higher than that. Colorado pulled in 2016, $200 million in revenue. And it was such a big amount of money that they did not expect it. It actually is opening up dialogues about things for free kindergartens, refunds to citizens for taxes similar to what has happened in Alaska on the oil revenues. But this product is perfect for Pahokee. It's been used for thousands of years in building applications. Primarily the difference between what you know as the psychoactive marijuana versus hemp is that marijuana has more than 0.03% THC. CBD has to have, or hemp has to have less than 0.03%. And that's what they're talking about growing here in Florida. And that's what the University of Florida has put out as a encouragement for public-private partnerships in this area. Again, the CBD and tetrahydrocannabinol is the two products that come out of marijuana or hemp. Again, they have both of chemicals, but the reality is one has a higher, the psychoactive drug is the THC. Primarily the way this got started was the people began to give responses that they were experiencing relief from glaucoma. This is how the medical industry began to become aware of what could this drug do. And in reality, in the 1990s, they began figuring out exactly how it worked, which is that it is a product of the endocannabinoid system, which is basically the creation of homeostasis in the body. And homeostasis is defined by the Encyclopedia Britannica as being the balance. And in essence, if you don't have balance in your body, and this is what this drug does, is that it binds with the receptors. This is why people feel good with marijuana, because it binds with the receptors in the body, and it basically causes the cells to operate on a balanced platform. It allows the cells to operate functionally, and according to Encyclopedia Britannica, if you do not have homeostasis, if your homeostasis is interrupted, if unsuccessful, you die. So where do they come from? Your body makes cannabinoids. This is why we're able to the body is able to bind with these receptors. So this is what's happening, is that it's coming out now that they're making these products in the laboratory. But according to science, they have a thing called the entourage effect, which basically says that you can make these products in the laboratory, but it does not do the same as the total product, as the total plant does with the body. So what about the opioid crisis? We're all aware, and everyone, I'm aware of people who have died from overdoses of opioids, and they're now finding that marijuana and CBD is allowing these people to actually come off of cannabinoids, or to use or come off of the opioids, and to be able to use the cannabinoids in conjunction, so they're not having to take as much of the opioids. How did it all start? There was a little girl. Most of you have heard of Charlotte's Web. Well, this is Charlotte. And it's not funny, but the reality is that the actual plant that they took this from, because it was so low in THC, was called Hippie's Disappointment. So the reality is it's very high in CBD. The family was able to locate the oil, gave it to this little girl who was having over 300 seizures in a week, and the entire first week she didn't have any seizures. So this tells you that there's something more here, that we have not been told the truth about this drug or this substance. What happens when CBD is used? I know you can't read this, but this is almost, you see the articles in the paper now, it's almost like the old cowboy standing on the back of a wagon saying this snake oil was solve everything for you. But the reality is it does. It has some significant physiological effects on the human body, and the reality is we don't know what all it does because it's been a prohibitive substance for so long. Medical interests, they have found that it actually does help in brain concussions. It's an anti-inflammatory. Roger Goodell has even said if they can figure out how it works and if it helps, he will not have a problem with players smoking marijuana. The American public supports legalization, and it is coming to Florida. Whether you realize it or not, it's coming. And the reality is 84% of the public believes cannabis should be available for medical purposes. 61% of Americans support full legalization. In Pahokee, this was your amounts. These were the votes. 73.7% voted for medical marijuana. There was only 2 counties in the state of Florida that weren't in this same large category. And there were 2 northern Florida counties, typical conservative counties, but they were above 50% in the vote. So that was the most opposition in the state of Florida. Hemp has been used for centuries as nautical, you make canvas from cannabis. It's made ropes, it's started wars, it's created problems. But in essence, 1 acre of hemp will produce as much as 2 to 3 acres of cotton. And it's a stronger fabric. Hemp was required to be grown in the early days of our country. George Washington grew it, Thomas Jefferson grew it, but every farmer was required to grow hemp. And it was because it was so necessary in farming and in nautical scenarios. Hemp was found approximately 2,700 years ago in a shaman's grave. 2 pounds of hemp. It's been around and used medicinally for centuries. Most of you don't realize, but the reality is when Napoleon started his war and went to Moscow to fight the Russians, it was over marijuana. He found the Russians had been growing hemp for centuries. They created all the canvas sails, all of the ropes, all of these countries. If you had a navy, you had to have hemp. And so the reality is that Napoleon had told the French, if you sell hemp or if you sell rope or seeds to the English, we're going to fight. And he found that the Russians were selling it underground to the British, and that started the War of 1812. And that was Napoleon's Waterloo. But a lot of people don't realize it was fought over marijuana. Hemp's history goes way back. You can't read this, but the reality is it's been demonized for years. And minority populations and Mexican populations, jazz fans, were all afflicted by this gentleman, Harry Anslinger. He was the first narcotics commissioner. And when the prohibition on alcohol ended at the end of the 20s, he had to find a new substance to be against because he was going to lose his job. And he focused on marijuana. And these are the kind of statements that he made. And it's very racist. And the reality is that everyone should understand marijuana has been treated very badly in this country when it has been legal for years. Most people don't realize that it was in everyone's medicine cabinet in the 30s. Nearly every product has some sort of hemp derivative in it, and then they made it illegal. And part of that action to make it illegal was Standard Oil, Rockefellers, who did not like the competition that hemp was bringing into the system, and William Randolph Hearst in California, who basically was attacking the Mexicans because they were coming into the country. And they changed the name from cannabis to marijuana to make it sound more Mexican. So you're all familiar with reefer madness. This was some of the propaganda that was put out that basically said, if you smoke this, you're going to go crazy. You're going to become a schizophrenic mass murderer. Louis Armstrong. If you don't know it, Louis Armstrong loved marijuana. It was his way of keeping his calmness on the stage, and he basically tried to get a license years ago so he could travel freely with it. His wife was eventually arrested in Hawaii over it, but he was very strongly supportive of the legalization. Henry Ford, 1941, produced the first all-hemp vehicle that ran on hemp. It's stronger than steel. Hemp and its applications, you can make hempcrete, you can make hemp insulation, and you can make particle board in the building industry with this product. It's a simple mix. If you make concrete, you understand how it works, but in essence, the way hempcrete works, it's a ratio of 4:1:1. 4 parts hemp hurd. Hurd is just the wooden stalk from the inside of the plant that's been ground up. You mix that with 1 part lime, 1 part water. That's all it is. And it makes, after 50 years, it becomes solid stone. It's a great insulator. It's antimicrobial because of the lime. And there was, if you watch the internet on this, there was one gentleman that was talking about building these houses, and he built 46 houses of hemp, and only 1 needed air conditioning. So it's an insulator. For every inch of hempcrete, it gives you 2.1 R factor. So it's a tremendous insulator. We want you to take advantage of this. We know there's been people that have come to town and talked about things that they think are going to work here. We have something that we believe will work, and we have the money behind it. We are encouraging you to consider the fact of what is going to happen. And full legalization is coming to Florida, whether it comes by 2020, 2024, it's coming to Florida. Everything that, as you know, everything that happens in California happens in Florida. So it's coming here. And the smartest thing you can do is to look at, well, how can we take advantage of this? Nothing against the sugar industry. Love the sugar industry. But the reality is, when the Castros are gone and Cuba opens up like they will, they're going to start selling sugar to the United States. And what's happening here is not going to be as big and great as you once had it. And one of the things you can do is to look at the future and diversify and put yourself right in the middle of the new great emerging market. One of the concerns, and it's really, we don't know where it all comes from, but the big fight is going to be against the sugar industry, the blue-green algae and the red tide. These things are, whether people believe it or not, it's what they believe. And the truth is what the people believe. And they believe the sugar industry has caused a lot of this. Golf courses, major development, anything that gets into the streams, goes down the rivers, it creates dead zones. One of the largest dead zones in the world is in the Gulf of Mexico. And they're projecting it's going to be, typically it's 5,000 square miles. But this year they're saying it's going to be 8,000 square miles. And what happens is, when phosphates and fertilizers go into the water, go down the river into the ocean, it settles at the bottom and takes out all the oxygen. And that's what kills all the fish, and you have this tremendous dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. We're talking about putting in a facility. We know that there's properties here, we know that there's capabilities here, but we're looking at having a workforce job training program to train the local people here on how the industry works, how you can become involved in the industry, how can you move to another state or even Canada and still be involved in the industry because you're going to learn it here in Pahokee. And there's all types of job opportunities. One of the biggest things that the industry is missing right now is packaging. So that even if you don't get into the real industry, there's lots of side industries that can develop from this sort of thing. And the housing we're talking about building would be in conjunction with those people that are selected for the job training program. And in essence, we don't have the raw materials yet to start the project, but ideally what we would like is to, as we begin to ramp up, is to begin teaching these people how to build hempcrete houses that they or others are going to live in down the road. So this is a way that can become a state model. It can become a national model. I know of no other place that this kind of offer has been put out in the United States. And again, we're talking about building hempcrete type houses and to teach the people how. This is a new industry. I'm sure there's going to be many people in the concrete industry that are going to be interested in this, but this is a different kind of industry. And if you will just do the studies on hempcrete, you're going to be shocked at how fascinating it is. Shipping, this is a perfect location. Pahokee's a perfect location for the port of Palm Beach. The big problem that you have when you start growing hemp is that it's a very difficult product to process. You can grow it, it's expensive, it costs $1 a seed. It costs 6,000 seeds to plant an acre. So farmers don't want to spend that kind of money unless they know they've sold their product before it's ever grown. So we're talking about having a processing facility here in Pahokee. Not just growing it here, but having a processing facility. Most of you remember the way cotton was milled in the South. Farmers couldn't mill their own cotton. They had to take it to a gin. They sewed it at the gin owner milled the cotton. Same thing is going to happen here. You're going to create a cooperative where you have these farmers that are members of this cooperative, and they're going to guarantee a certain amount of production that's going to come to this facility. And then this facility is going to mill the raw materials into products that can then be shipped out either by rail, which you have spurs here, or by the port to islands that are looking for hemp products. Maybe they can grow it, they can't process it, so they ship it over here for processing. There's a number of things that can happen here that would be tremendously beneficial for Pahokee if they stepped up and said, we want to be first. We want to be a part of this. Employment, obviously, there will be the dispensaries. We're going to try to teach all aspects, laterally, up the ladder, every aspect of how this industry works to the people that are involved in this employment program. Access, we have access to resources, University of Florida, FAMU, a lot of people like FSU, but right now, University of Florida is the big dog in this. So they have a facility, they have a grow going on right now in Homestead, and we're going to be talking to them if you decide that you want to move forward with this project. In preparation for this, you can see some schools. This is SUNY University in New York, Morrisville. They have degrees now in cannabis cultivation. They're preparing their students. They're preparing their people for this industry. Right now, I'm unaware of anything that's going on other than a hemp workshop in 3 locations around June 26th, something like that. But the reality is we have to train our people. We have to have people involved in this industry. Florida is going to be tremendously large in this industry. Hemp cannot have, outdoor hemp, you can't make it into medicinal marijuana. You can't make it into CBD. You can't have pesticides in it. You can't have overhead spraying from another field. The reality is the outdoor grows are basically to provide the raw products, the hurd, the shiv, whichever the wood is for the hemp creek, the outside bark, which is where they get the fiber, and then the seeds and the flowers, which is used for whatever they can process it into. But in essence, real, true medicinal marijuana cannot have pesticides or any other contaminants in it. And that's one of the other things that we're talking about for Pahokee, is looking at putting in a lab here for the certification and determination of how pure the product is. One doesn't exist in Florida right now.
Mr. Don, excuse me. I know we are on a time frame here. I'm not going to cut you off. I want to give the mayor and the commission an opportunity to ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead. If I've expressed where we are right now, we're talking about having a grow facility, we're talking about having a processing facility, and we're talking about having a lab environment. And what we need is the support of the community of Pahokee, the commission, in order to convince the state of Florida they need to be involved in trading off land for this facility. I think there's a 32-acre parcel of land that's being looked at by the cabinet sometime later this month. I don't know exactly where that is, but the reality is we have this company in Canada. It's called Greentone. We have established ourselves here in Florida. We're going to do this. We would like to do it here. And because of the limitations of time, I will be here afterwards to answer any questions that anyone has. But the bottom line on this is an opportunity. And we are standing here with a commitment of approximately $50 million to start. So the reality is I will step back, and any questions I can answer.
Potential jobs creation, you got any preliminary or early estimates how many jobs this would create for the community?
It's going to be difficult to determine how many jobs will be created initially because, as you know, you have more jobs in the construction phase than you do when you have, but the reality is this is going to be a full security facility. So there will be jobs for security, construction, agriculture, development, processing. At this particular point, we know how they did it in Canada. We know how we can do it here. What we have to find out is whether or not you want it.
Mayor, I had a question. I was listening to his presentation, and he mentioned Canada a couple of times, the industry he has. What is the amount of money that you put into the industry in Canada thus far to date? What is the amount of investment in dollars that you put into the company in Canada?
Marier, M-A-R-I-E-R.
So, we have invested $50 million at this time, and we have a greenhouse, which is 250,000 square foot.
Could you come to the podium so we can capture that, please? Thank you. Sorry.
So thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. So we have invested $50 million at this time. We have the major or the larger greenhouse being built. It's completely built. It's fully automated. And we foresee, this is 250,000 square foot, and we have already secure lands to build 3 more like this. So you can imagine the market. The market is huge. There's a lack of demand, of offer. The demand is so strong in Canada, so we have to provide more facilities, more expansion to supply the demand.
We can use Canada as a case study. Have crime in that area where this has been developed, has a decrease, increase, or been about the same?
Yes, well, You see, Canada, my people over there, we will use all their technology, all their knowledge about it. This is what we want to bring it here. The expertise that they have so far. We're not going to bring the people to do the job here. We'll take the people from here to do it. But we'll have the expertise to teach exactly how things should be done and to be, respecting all the rules.
Okay, my question to you though, have crime in that area increase or decrease, or did you see any change in it? You can get some type of industry that could create some additional crime, or because of the job and the economic benefit, it could have a decrease on crime. I'm not sure if you understanding the question, Commissioner.
Has the crime decreased or
The crime,
increased?
okay, I know
Yes.
what you mean. Okay, well, our Prime Minister is convinced that's going to solve the problem of crime. This is why maybe the major or the main reason why he legalized the marijuana. He's convinced about it. It's all a matter, there's a strategy to take there. If we have we have the problem with cigarette in Canada, and with illegal cigarettes from people. If the price is so high when it's legal, people will have tendency to go and buy on the street to get the same product or almost the same product, probably not the same quality of product, at a lower price, So the strategy is to give the product at a competing price to the black market or the street market. And this is in Canada now. The access is so easy to have the product. The product is certified by the government. So people are sure they're buying a good product, which has been tested, and the price is competitive. I don't have numbers, and I'm not going to throw any numbers that I'm not sure of, but we're pretty sure that it's going to completely decrease or kill the black market on it, because the access is easy. Everybody can buy it next door. The distribution has been organized so that everyone in any region can have access to the product. So I'm pretty sure numbers will come, because it's only been legalized. We're just talking about not even a year at this time, but after a year or so, I'm pretty sure that that we'll have numbers, and that will kill the black market.
But my question is, if it kills it, but this is just medical marijuana, correct? This is not recreational marijuana,
it is
so
recreational in Canada.
in Canada it's recreational, you said?
Recreational and medical, okay?
Okay.
It is recreational.
Let me add one thing to this. Part of the problem that they're experiencing now, because politicians, nothing's here, but politicians got greedy. When they realized they were legalizing marijuana, they taxed it as much as they could, all the way up, over the black market. So people that were able to go in and buy it at the store for the first time realized they were paying 10-20% more for it than what they could buy it on the street. So the next time they buy it on the street. The way you get rid of or kill crime is you don't overtax the product. You keep it artificially low, so you run out all of the dealers, and the police don't lose their jobs. They're still looking for people growing that is illegal, people that are selling that is illegal. But the reality is, part of this problem has been put at the foot of the elected officials who got very excited about this tax money, which you can see what we showed was the amounts. 200 million just for Colorado. They did not expect it. They ran out of product. Canada ran out of product.
Definitely. We had a problem with this at the beginning. They were line up, and people waiting to get, to buy some of the product, and there was not enough product on the market.
About how long would it take how long does it take to grow it? How long would it take to build your building, your lab?
We're here, and we want to start very, as soon as possible, because time is of essence at this time. We believe that hemp will be legalized a matter of weeks maybe, or month, no later than that, probably in July, maybe after, but very soon. So we gotta get right away, I mean, into a deal, I call it a deal, with the city of Pahokee, so that we could work together. We're partner. This is what we look for: a partnership, a joint venture, to get benefits to the city. And we have to start as soon as possible, and probably we'll be starting growing as soon as it's legalized. We'll go for the licensing, and we'll start right away. But meanwhile, there's some preparation to do. We got to train people. We got to find, the equipment, or do the deal with the local people that already are growing, so we have a start. Time is of essence. We don't want to be behind and having the other people starting before us. We'd like to be a leader in the industry, and that's the way to go. But first, we have to sit down with the city of Pahokee and make some kind of a good agreement, both for both of us, and give benefits to the people of Pahokee. I've been around Pahokee a few times now, and I think there's a lot of things to do, and that may be a way to do it, and do it fast, because we're ready to move. I left Montreal yesterday. I'm here, and if I have to come back tomorrow, I'll be here tomorrow, or we're ready. So we think Pahokee is the right place to do it, and we're anticipating sitting down with you and talking business.
Does it take the governor or somebody to approve the site, or is it just you make an arrangement?
It's going to take the cabinet, it's going to take a land swap, it's going to take something. This is state land, this 32 acres is state land, and the cabinet is going to have to transfer it. I don't know, maybe the city of Pahokee's already requested that transfer. But the reality is, I understood that this was before the cabinet, towards the end of the month.
Okay, and also, this is where you building a plant and housing together.
Yeah, we're the processing of the machinery for the facility. The machines themselves cost over $1 million. So you're going to have several processing machines for this, assuming that we're going to be getting the majority of the hemp in this side of the state. I mean, it could be that this becomes so successful that we put in another facility somewhere else in the state. But I know that in Alabama, where they have 180 permits that they've just given out for hemp production, they're having to ship their production to either Memphis or Nashville for processing. So you can imagine that you are in a spot that if someone's willing to put a processing facility in here, you've got the great opportunity to be a hub of this industry for Florida.
Yep. What cities in Alabama?
It's scattered all over the state. The one that I'm familiar with is up in the Gadsden, Atala area. And I can give you the name of the guy that has the permit if you'd like. But they have their permitting processes there allow you, if you have the permit, to have satellite sites. You don't have to grow everything in one spot. You can, under that permit another farmer to grow for you. But the big problem for medicinal marijuana in America right now is that with Illinois is going to be the 11th state for recreational, and it will probably January 1 they're going to open it up. They're probably the one state that has done it right. The other states have had different issues that has caused problems in those states. They try to, the biggest problem across the board for all the states is homegrown. Some states don't let you grow it at home. Some states let you grow up to 6 plants. But the reality is those were the sticking points that caused problems. Illinois is doing, what they are doing is they're legalizing it. They're letting people have X amount per day. They're not saying where you have to get it. They're taking everyone that had marijuana-related criminal offenses and they're expunging their records. And they're putting out a low-interest loan program where people who have lived in communities that have been traditionally high crime, high arrest area for marijuana crimes, they're giving them low interest loans in which they can now open a marijuana related business. This is Illinois.
So this is the kind of plan.
This is the facility, this is the type of facility that we're talking about. Totally enclosed, totally secured. It's one of those facilities that you have to go through a safe, a clean room, and then put on frocks and masks and that sort of thing. Because if you're going to be growing medical marijuana, you want it as pure as you can. And the facilities they have in Canada are mechanized. So just because someone says you're going to have a mechanized facility doesn't mean you don't need people that know how to fix the mechanisms. So we're going to be doing all of these things for the people here that are in the program. Right?
Correct.
Okay, and due to time restraints, I know we just heard the presentation tonight, but if the commissioners see a desire to at least have staff continue to work with this group to explore this possibility, of course, our city attorney need to get involved. There's going to be a contractual agreement. If it's feasible, you know, if we want to direct them to continue exploring and looking into it, we're not making a commitment tonight, but at least giving staff the authorization to continue to explore the possibility.
So move on that, Mayor, but I just had one question. With the housing, though, you were saying with this, on that, you said the house is gonna be for the employers, but what about,
No, we're talking about the housing being for the workers.
I'm saying just for the workers?
For the workers.
So what about housing? Because what we're looking here in the city of Pahokee is for workforce housing, period, for our citizens and just, no, not just
I
for.
understand you're looking for single-family type housing.
Yes.
And that is still on the board, but what we'd like to do is, as we go into this, because we're trying to get your approval to move forward. We can tell you all the things that we would like to do, but until we know you want to do it, we can't solidify anything.
Sure.
All we can do is, if you say no, is we got a good preparation for the next city. That's basically what it amounts to. But the reality is, we are here, all we need is the approval to move forward. And we will continue to have a dialogue only with Pahokee. Am I correct in that?
100%.
So Mayor, your motion was, I would say what's the motion?
The recommendation was to move to allow staff to continue exploring the possibility of getting this deal put together, at least at a point where it can be presented to the commission for approval consideration.
So move on that, Mayor.
Second.
And I don't know if there's a language need to be a little more.
Well, I just want to make sure, Mr. Mayor, we are clear on what the directive is. And so would you like for us to find out what would need to happen in order for something like this to happen legally? What impediments might be in place from the state right now that the city would have to contend with? Is that sort of what you're asking for, as opposed to directing us to go down a path to? So as I understand it, you would be asking us to research the issue, come back with this is what the lay of the law is, and these are the things that would have to be done in order for this to happen, but not to enter into any kind of negotiations or anything like that.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Don't we probably then, once they do that, need like some kind of workshop so that they can come and we can ask a bunch of questions? So I don't know about anybody else, but I got about 1,000 questions.
Sure.
Y'all know me, I always got questions.
We understand, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But ideally, what we need to be on the same page about is if the cabinet is looking at this, I think it would be beneficial for them to know you like this idea and you're talking about a public-private partnership here for that purpose. I mean, it may move the issue forward a little faster if they know you're behind it, you're supportive of it. That's all we say.
And Mr. Mayor and Commission, I think that would be premature at this point without enough information, and allowing us to actually come back so that you can make that decision based upon the information that we are able to gather.
Mayor, me and you have been at Florida Legal City conferences, and we've talked about marijuana and hemp probably for the last 2 years. We've been privy to those conversations. You know, did a little research, and you know, the hemp industry, you know, is projected to be a multi-billion-dollar operation here, you know, across America. In Florida alone, it's going to be, you know, billions of dollars made on this production. I do know, just by some recent research, that they're probably, it's imminent that they're going to pass some legislation to ensure that the operations are here in the state of Florida at some type of rate. And the Agriculture Commissioner, now that he, you know, brought this conversation up, you know, they're sort of like scrambling now because there's so much information they have to get out, so many regulations they have to put in place, operations for the facility, the security, et cetera, along with the policies of, is it going to be from, you know, medicinal, you know, recreational, medical. We know about medical marijuana. It comes in all types of forms. You can smoke it, you can put it on your skin in an oil. It comes in multiple forms, so that tells you what type of industry this is across the nation. I agree with the city attorney. You know, we need to dig in and do our research and bring something back to the commission that you can make a decision on. And Commissioner Bolden made a good idea that maybe we need to have another conversation or workshop so we can get all of our questions answered moving forward, so we can make some type of decision. They mentioned this property that we've already have in movement in Tallahassee currently. And so we've had groups that have come before us and have presented, you know, the opportunity for the development for housing. So there's a lot of conversations you're going to have to consider, you know, moving forward on this piece of property here for the city of Pahokee. We need housing here in the city of Pahokee. That's very obvious. We also need economic development here in the city of Pahokee, and that's very obvious. So we would have to go back and really, you know, assess what this company is offering. I do know it's a multi-billion-dollar operation across this nation, and small cities who've allowed corporations to come in like this, their infrastructure has been paid for. They no longer go to the state for grants because they're generating so much revenue, you know, back to the city that their infrastructure is self-built just on that revenue alone that's coming back to the city. I'm not saying that's swaying me. I'm just saying the industry for this type of operation is endless right now, and I don't know everything about it. And that's something that we have to research and dig into and come back and present to the commission again, because again, you've had other groups that have come in here, made presentations about this particular area of Pahokee, and it's centered around housing. And so we have to consider, you know, those groups, because they came in, you know, before this group, making some recommendations as well. That's my spill on it, Mayor.
I would add one more thing, which is that in a lot of instances when you're getting involved in a new enterprise, you have a tremendous learning curve. A lot of expense, a lot of trouble, a lot of mistakes. We've got people that have already been through that already know how to avoid those kind of issues. So the reality is you've got a company in Canada that has been through this. We won't have that same type of learning curve that some cities will. So
What's
I
the
would
name
just-
of the company in Canada?
Greentown.
It's the same Greentown?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we have incorporated Greentown, NA, LLC.
Do you have operations here in the state of Florida?
Yes, we are in real estate also, and we have bought some properties in Fort Lauderdale and big properties over there. We bought properties in Allendale, Fort Lauderdale, and we're just in the process of closing a property on Singer Island. So, and these are major properties, means,
Will this be your first operations in the States, if it's in Pahokee?
yes,
And campus.
yeah.
All right, so.
Are you in any other states?
No, 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 we concentrate here.
Okay.
And we put our energy in Florida, and this is where we want to be, and we're doing the right thing to do it.
I'm sorry. What would be your upfront investment again?
Well, here, well, it'll be major at the end of it, you know, because as you can see, just by the picture there, this greenhouse cost 40, just the construction cost was $40 million just for the greenhouse. We're not talking about the lab, we're not talking about the processing, just for the greenhouse. So that's major. Of course, we'll have to start with a budget, probably $15 to $20 million, something like that. We'll have to establish this together and make things happen as
But as things happen, you're gonna have more and more people wanting to contribute, to be involved. You're gonna have more agencies within the state that are gonna see this as a pilot project, and they're gonna be interested in throwing in their support, depending upon how it's structured.
Yeah.
So we have a motion. Did we get a second? Regina, did you second? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so we would allow staff to kind of continue to move forward and do whatever it need to do to bring this more closer to us so we can make a
I think
more informed
the
decision.
motion needs to be maybe a little bit more succinct. What are we doing? I mean, are we just exploring it and then they're saying, you know, they need an answer pretty quick? I don't like to be rushed, y'all know that.
No, we're not trying
But-
to put pressure.
No, I
Yeah.
understand, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
so are y'all gonna research it and bring it back to us like in 2 weeks for a workshop, and then after that, we can make some decisions, or?
I would like for us to be able to look into it at all right now. I do know what the status was several months ago, and I'm not sure what has happened since that time with the state. So I can't say that, you know, I will be fully prepared in a week or two, but certainly I will try. And I'll work with the manager to get whatever information, including maybe other speakers to come in and talk about what's happening, maybe someone from the state to tell you what the status might be in terms of what their process is, whether it is a staff person or a legislator, or, you know, maybe we can get some people who have expertise in the area and bring those folks back along with information. We'll certainly try to put together something that will allow you to be informed, and that's my goal anyway. In terms of legal, the legal issues, I'm sure the manager will have some other issues that he will want to address. In terms of economic development, perhaps, and what this could realistically yield in terms of benefits for the city. But I think that, you know, I would hate for you to say, you know, come back at the next meeting or something, because I don't know that I'm going to have that information at the next meeting, and I don't know what their deadline is. But we'll certainly try to do everything that we can to have you have considered information and be informed.
May I add that through the partnership, we will go through that process. We'll bring our own expertise, people that knows about it legally and technically about this, that will live the process together. The partnership for us is being all on the same page at the same time. So if we are going to go together, well, we'll get an agreement, of course, but through this process there, you'll have a chance to see, maybe some people will come to Canada and visit what we're doing there and get knowledge about it. So this will be included in the process. Yes, we will be partners. So
And
we'll
Mr.
have
Mayor,
to work together.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to be very clear that the city is not talking at this point about a partnership. At least that's not what I've heard. And so we will be getting the information, because whatever happens in Canada, you all realize we have state of Florida laws to contend with, including whatever laws the federal government may have that may pertain to this. And so we want to certainly have good information for you that, and I don't want to mislead or go out of here and someone says the next meeting, I thought it was a partnership. We're not talking partnership at this point. So we're just researching the information to bring back to you so that you all can consider the issue. That's all I understand the motion to be. And so if somebody wants to make that motion, that's what we'll do.
And that is the motion, of city attorney, is just to, because we have two commissioners out also. So you want to give them a chance also to look this over. So the motion is just for you to do research onto, because like I said, the state timing is not our timing, so we cannot make the state move as fast as they move. So it's just our research right now, just to research the information and bring it back as soon, as quick as that you have that information.
Very good.
I guess I would like to also, in that, I would like to know, yeah, y'all can give me all the information you want about this and how it grows and where it grows and all of that, but at the end of the day, I'd want to know, how's the city benefit out of this? That would be my big, probably decision maker.
Yeah, from Ms. Weeks' perspective, she's looking at it from a legal point of view as far as the sufficiency of it. And as she mentioned, I'm going to be looking at the benefits for the city of Pahokee. That would be my part as far as economic development, the residual revenue fallout to the city of Pahokee. And we should be able to bring that back. Again, we won't have.
And so that's some of
that'll
what
be
we
part of
would
the
be
research.
discussing in the workshop.
Yes, ma'am.
A workshop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm okay with that then.
Exactly.
Okay, so the clerk is asking me if you can please amend the motion to limit it to allowing us to go out and research the issue and bring back for consideration at a workshop.
So the motion is to go out and research the information to bring back to the workshop on the Green Tone organization.
Well, on the issue of
On the issue
growing
growing
the
hemp oil. Yes.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and we need somebody to vet them. Not that y'all don't look nice, but who do we get to vet them?
Well,
Like the BBD or somebody like that?
I think that would be premature at this point because, maybe it requires an RFP. Maybe it requires, I think we're researching just the issue. And so we're going to bring that back to you. So
Right now, we just want to research information.
Right. As opposed to this particular entity, you're researching the into it. It may be that this entity is a fine entity and you decide that, or it may be that you find that you want to consider other people who may have an economic development plan that they may have to commit to before you go forward. There can be a lot of different things that you can do, but I think the first thing that I understood you all to say is that you want us to research the issue. And so the motion's been made, and if there's a second to that motion, then, the mayor will take it from there.
Yes, that was the motion.
Okay.
I think Regina seconded the motion.
So it has been
I think we've got
moved
it straight now.
by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden that we allow staff to research this issue and bring back significant information that we can use in a workshop to determine our next step as far as moving forward.
Yes.
Okay. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Everett, Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you all. Motion passes by a 3-0 vote. I believe Commissioner Everett has lost contact.
Thank you.
Can I
Yes,
ask
sir.
a question for the attorney? As you develop your questions, if you could just email them to us, so our responses may help you in your research. We may be able to answer questions much faster if we know about them all as soon as we know about them.
We appreciate
Just as you develop it, send it to us, let us respond to it, and then you have a better product to present.
If we have questions, we will definitely reach out. Thank you.
Can you leave your contact information before you
Sure.
enter the meeting? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Okay, we're gonna move right on into the mayor's report. It will be brief. We're gonna try to get you out of here in a few minutes, y'all. The mayor and the city of Pahokee will be hosting a cancer awareness event on July the 20th. That's a Saturday at 10 o'clock here at the old high school cafeteria. There are some flyers on the back. I would
What's the
like
date?
you all to take some of these, give them out, especially to the females. There's a eligibility step. They need to call this number and get eligible for the breast screening, mammogram. There's going to be a mobile here on site. There's also going to be some cancer education. We want to make this a great event for the city of Pahokee. So if you can help us spread the word. To bring this vehicle here, we need a minimum of 15 to 20 participants. We think we're going to do a lot better than that, but without the community support, it won't be as successful as we would like it to be. I also want to thank the city manager for his speedy follow-up with the retailers that we spoke to in Las Vegas. Every single retailer was followed up with a letter thanking them for their time that they invested in hearing our presentation. Hopefully, we can get some businesses through that particular follow-up. In addition to that, in August, there's going to be another retail convention in Orlando that I, as the mayor, will be considering going. We already have the packages and the presentation, and now we're going to perfect that presentation. There was a lot of retailers that was excited about the presentation that we provided on behalf of the city. So we're looking forward to the possibility of expanding our outreach to attract additional retailers to our community. And I guess at that point, I'll conclude the mayor's report. We'll now move to the city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for bringing up the ICSC conference. Got some conversations back on that. Yeah, the ICSC conference is the major national retail conference here in America. It provides an opportunity for actually retail, real estate and firms, major retailers themselves to converge in one specific city and discuss, future development across the United States. What is significant about that is probably every restaurant franchise that you've ever walked into were there as well, along with all the major retail corporations that recruit retail to come to cities. You also had, hundreds of cities there as well with their own booths trying to recruit retailers to come to their cities. And so it's very beneficial that we had an opportunity to sit down with some of the major retail recruitment firms in the nation and listen to what it takes to bring business to a city or a small town or a community. We had an opportunity to sit down with several retail recruitment firms face to face, specifically for Pahokee, and have a conversation about coming to the city of Pahokee or assisting in luring retail development here to the city of Pahokee. I learned something that most cities are doing that we're not doing, is they hire these retail recruitment firms to work on their behalf to promote their cities. And so that's something that we're going to look at very closely here. We actually got one, I think, response, Mayor, from one retail recruitment firm that is interested in working on our behalf. Of course, the numbers weren't where I expected them to be, but they're very interested in helping assist the city of Pahokee in bringing new restaurants, businesses to the city of Pahokee. That's their expertise in what they do. So we're excited about that. All of the firms that we met with have responded back Some have offered actually packages and promotional materials that they can provide to assist. Of course, that comes with a cost. When you hire retail development firms, they're not coming for free, but they will provide you a type of service that you typically would see in larger cities or any city that can afford their product, and that's recruitment of retail businesses. So we learned a lot. I think I took over 60 thumb drive presentations to this conference. I came back with four. So I had an opportunity to speak, to numerous retail developers. If you walked into a restaurant, I probably talked to that retail, that company or that restaurant. Wherever you eat here in Palm Beach County, I assure you, I had a conversation with them. And that's every restaurant outside of the specialty restaurants. I'm talking about the McDonald's, the Dairy Queens, the Longhorns, the Golden Corrals, even Walmart. We had fluid conversations with these corporations about the city of Pahokee, and every last one of them received a presentation on the city of Pahokee. So it's going to take some continued follow-up and to engage that interest and keep that interest steady and focused on Pahokee. And of course, everything that we're doing here in the city of Pahokee aids in that recruitment as well. Our renovations at the marina, our subleasing, housing, all of those things are a conversation that we have with retail developers to promote the city of Pahokee. One particular organization, and it's a national organization that promotes your actual land that you own. And Mayor, you walked over at that presentation that I was at, where they take your land that you own and they put it on a national Rolodex, as you could say, and it exposes it to the nation, where major retail developers are continuing to search their website for available land for economic development. That was significant because it provided me an opportunity to look at all the land that we own and promote it, nationally. And they had these different packages, and it started at maybe $150 for an average package, to a gold package, to about $300 a month to promote your property to a national audience. And that was important because right now we know we have some properties out there that we can promote nationally to lure, economic development and major retailers to at least review and look at. So very beneficial conference. Certainly learned a lot. I told the mayor, I said, we probably should have been here 3 years ago. But it took going to another national conference to learn about this retail conference. And so when the conversation comes up, what do we learn when we go to these conferences? I didn't know about ICSC until I went to a conference that we participate in every year, and I had other cities tell me what they did to recruit retail and economic development to their cities. So, that's how we got to this conference, and that's why, I'm excited about it, because we made so many more new contacts about the city of Pahokee. And now that presentation, Mayor, is electronic, we can send that out and do follow-up with other folks that we probably missed. I think I have over 150 business cards that I'm still filtering through and having those conversations and email back and forth and phone conversations. So we want to, attract at least one from this conference, and we think we have an interest of one particular group, but we don't want to talk about it because it's an ongoing conversation. But it's going to get to a point where if we want to look at hiring a retail developer to assist the city, we'll bring that presentation forward for your consideration. But right now, we're just doing a lot of follow-up with a lot of these organizations and entities from that conference over the last 2 weeks. I think I mentioned the July 4th fireworks. Commission, typically around this year, there's a summer vacation for the commission. You need to, consider some dates in this summer. Typically, it's around July. You take 1 or 2 commission meetings off. That doesn't delete out that we have budget meetings that we'll have, and maybe a town hall as well. But it's your pleasure if you want to do that for the month of July, and continue with the meetings that we already have scheduled for, as far as the budget meetings. So you need to consider that. Lastly, we need to close out our former legal firms contract. On the books, we have their last invoice remaining. We need a motion to go ahead and close out that agreement with that former legal firm this evening, so finance can move forward and pay the former legal firm from the contract that they had.
We'll entertain a motion, but we need the specific amount that's, just for the record, I think it's 2 months, and it's an equal amount of payment for a total of
15,334.
That's the
close
total
to that.
amount?
Yes, sir.
So that's an average of what, 7,000?
Yeah, that's the remaining 2 months.
Right. Commissioner, what's your pleasure? We have a final obligation to our previous city attorney, according to his calculation, his contract calls for a 2-month servant pay if his contract is terminated. So that's a total of $15,000 and some dollars that we're asking authorization to go ahead and figure it out.
Mayor, I make a motion to accept the invoices that was given here by Mr. Gary Brandenburg of $15,334.
As a final payment.
As a final payment.
Do we have a second on that?
Okay.
Okay. It's been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bowden that we authorize staff, our financial department, to disperse the funds necessary for the final closeout of our previous city attorney salary that was due to him. Call for questions.
Yeah, I have some. Do we have an invoice that says this amount from Mr. Brandenburg?
I thought I printed it out. He emailed it to me, and I thought it was in here with the contract. It's not.
You looking
attached
at
to the
one?
contract.
I'm looking at one because I think Mr. Brandenburg
Yeah,
also
but he
had put
emailed it
one
to
out
all of
there.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did himself. So.
He emailed it to all of us. I think April 24th.
Could you just we get you
Yeah,
official
can we see
copy,
it?
but
Sure.
just let her look at it.
This says the total amount due is $21,260.99.
Correct.
if
That's
you look
minus.
at it, you
That's
can
that's
see-
minus, Commissioner. That's minus the April. That's already been paid out.
That's minus April, that's already been paid out, is that what you said?
Here it is right here too. He said
Yes.
it's also 5,878.11 was paid already. And those invoices, Mayor, so there won't be any misinformation. Those came from Mr. Brandenburg himself.
It doesn't make sense to me, maybe I'm just not reading it correctly.
And those are the totals that he,
Yeah, but I don't see where anything's been paid on here, you said something had been paid.
Yeah, well, we don't have his canceled check, but April, when he sent this out, it was April, May, June. And then April payment went out. And then we got the last invoice just last week, which represents the final remaining, which is the 2 months.
Okay. I see that, but it's still, that's just another invoice that you're showing me for
Yeah,
$15,334
that's the remaining.
for the period of
May and
April
June.
24th through June 23rd. But then what happens to this other invoice that's here for $5,926.99?
That was April. That was his usual
So
bill.
where's the check that shows that this has been paid?
I don't have his check. It's already been sent out to him. I
Can
don't have
accounting
his,
give us a check number?
I'm sure they could.
Listen, I think we're going, honestly, I think we're going too much on it.
Pay the guy.
The
I
city
really don't
attorney
care,
has sent his invoice on what he's been paid out. I think we go ahead and pay, we made a motion to go ahead and pay the balance to him. It came from him offices. This is his letterhead from Mr. Gary Berger himself, of $15,334. And so I make a motion that we will go ahead and direct the finance department to cut Mr. Brandenburg his final payment of the $15,334. And I think everything is public record. If you wanted to go and see a copy of the check, the number of the check, I think you can go right into the finance department and ask to see a copy of it.
Yeah, and I would have liked to have that in my hand tonight so I could vote and know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to. So I'm not going to vote and say just because you say I can go in there and see it. I don't see it in front of me. I have a question. I'm entitled to my questions, and I'm going to have my questions.
Sure you are, but the invoice coming from the attorney is giving you his amount. So either we pay him or we hold off his payment. So I make a motion to go ahead and pay Mr. Brandenburg was due him. And believe me, if he did not receive it, I'm sure we'll hear about it.
Commissioner Boland, if it rests with you, if it helps, when Mr. Brandenburg was released, his bail was, I think, like $21K, and we were in the middle of April, and we were about to pay him his usual payment for April. Then the April payment came in, so he was paid that. And he sent us the last bill, which is this one, which is for the remaining 2 months, which is May and June, and that's the total. That's his invoice for the last 2 months.
Here's the thing. It's another one of these. Here it is. I'm handing it to you tonight. I want you to authorize a check get cut for it.
But you saw this already. He sent it on April 24th. We all were copied on it. And then since that email, we paid him for April.
But how do I know that? I'm taking your word for it that it's been paid.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't like to take anybody's word for something. If you're telling me the balance is this, then show me the proof that that's the balance.
Commissioner
That's all
Boland,
I'm saying.
Commissioner Boland, this is the city of Pahokee. And one thing that we do here is we do day-to-day business. And that's what you hired me to do. And to sit in a commission meeting, to be questioned whether we paid something to have proof to close out a contract.
Then just show me the payment.
That says that's just day-to-day operations. This is his invoice to close out his contract.
No, that's not day-to-day operations. You're showing me 2 invoices. You're telling me that one of them's been paid.
I'm not showing you 2
invoices. And yet I don't have any proof that one of them's been paid, and this is the amount. I don't want to get into a whole big rigmarole about it, but just give me the paperwork. That's all I'm asking.
He's giving you the paperwork.
That's not the paperwork.
Yes, it is.
City Attorney, we're gonna move forward. We have a motion and second on the floor. If the commission don't have the necessary information to feel comfortable voting on this, then it will be delayed to the next meeting to whatever invoices she needs. It's not.
Maybe I don't
it's
think
gonna be the same invoice. This is the
not
invoice.
to cut no one off. When we pay the light bill of the city, we don't actually see the check or the
He
or the
doesn't bring
invoice
it
of the
in
light
here and
bill.
ask us if
Mr.
we can
Commissioner,
pay the light bill, does he?
Wait. These invoices came from Mr. Brandenburg through email through each commissioner himself of what is being owed to him. So it's by right that we go ahead on and make a motion to pay Mr. Brandenburg was due him. Now,
Right, and Mr. Brandenburg gave you 2 invoices that say $21,000.
I'm not done. And we have the invoices since April that was due to Mr. Brandenburg, April 24th, 2019. Now, I think we should go ahead and cut the check for the $15,000. If anything else is owed to Mr. Brandenburg, I'm sure he would send us another invoice. But right now, let's go ahead and settle what we have in front of us from Mr. Gary Brandenburg himself of the $15,334. And then once, if Mr. Brandenburg, you can follow up behind that. Mr. Brandenburg, did you receive your payment? Okay, but let's go ahead and let's look, cause we've been holding, if you could read the email also, he said he would like this done immediately as possible. So I think we've been holding this since April 24th, so let's go ahead and pay the man $15,334. Anything else owed unto him, then he will let us know that. I think we're dragging it out. Just pay the bill.
In additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
No.
Mayor Bab.
Yes. Okay, motion failed by
Crazy.
2-1 vote. The only thing we can do at this point
I can tell you
is-
this, I know what the response is gonna be, from that firm.
Okay.
I'll let legal deal with that.
Right.
Then next time, have the information.
I can tell him to resend the
You'll
email to
bring it,
everyone else again, because he's done that already.
I
but-
wasn't asking for the email, I was asking for reconciliation.
In addition to report, City Manager.
Yeah, just a little bit more. Back to phase 2 renovations of the marina, restaurant and campground and public park side. We are, as you know, starting renovations, and we expect those renovations to go very rapidly here over the next several weeks. We originally had till June 30th, we had to June 30th to finish this project. And as I indicated, a couple of commission meetings ago, that we had already anticipated that the project would take, a little longer than June 30th. And I had anticipated that. And so we had already requested some extensions from the state to ensure that the project was, would have the ability.
Audience.
Would have the ability to remain on course and not be penalized because we don't finish by June 30th. And so we have been provided that extension to August 31st, really September 1, 2019. So that's more than enough time to finish this project. And so we just wanted to make that announcement. I know there was some conversations about the timeline. So we have to September 1 to get this project wrapped up, and we feel that that's sufficient time. The contractor certainly feels that's enough time to do this project and get it wrapped up, all completed. And so I just wanted to indicate that to the commission, because that was a question prior to how will we negotiate the June 30th date, and they've given us to August 31st. So that's it, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Before we move on, we want to establish our town hall meeting. So the manager was saying he was waiting on some input as for a date. We're going to go ahead and establish that date tonight. So if anyone want to make any recommendations, we'll schedule it around that.
Mayor, can we make some date recommendations, and then when we can get everyone, I can get those dates out to Commissioner Everett. He's not here, and he'll and get
I'm saying I thought that was going to happen at the last meeting, and between the last meeting and this meeting,
right.
I thought we were going to come up with a date.
I got offered, I think, a July 1st date, July 8th.
You can put out a suggestion, but I don't want to.
No, that came from 2 commissioners.
I don't want to leave here tonight 2 weeks later and not have a date scheduled for our town hall meeting.
Okay.
We should have that tonight. So if you got a suggested date for consideration, that's fine. Based on the few that you have talked to, that would be a start.
I had a July 15th date as a suggestion.
Okay. Now
What day of
that's
the week is that?
It's a Monday.
Third week.
It's a Monday.
Monday?
It's a Monday.
July
Yes.
15th. Okay. If that's in agreement, I'll entertain a motion to that effect. So we can go ahead and vote on it and move this forward.
So this would be the date?
Yeah, this is gonna be unless something changes. This is the tentative date. This is it. And we're
I make a
talking
motion
about,
to accept the July 15th as a tentative date for our town hall meeting.
Second?
and let's add the time in that too. So we have a tentative time.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, July 15, town hall meeting. Okay. It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Bolden that we have our town hall meeting scheduled for July 15, 2019 at 6 p.m. Call for questions.
Yes, one question, Mayor. Now, what would the topic come later? What would the town hall meeting be regarding? Is it a community, a county, or what? What all would be into this town hall meeting?
Major community updates, and then any of the general discussion that citizens want to get some answers to. But it'll be an overall update on our major projects that should be coming on board soon or currently on board. Any additional questions? Hearing none, you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. The motion passes by 3-0 vote to have our next town hall meeting on July 15, 2019 at 6 p.m. And my last comment is I failed to mention moving night. The first moving night was a big success. We look forward, thank the Chamber for co-sponsoring that. We want to get those dates out to the public as soon as possible. We had food vendors out there, and it was a nice community event. We want to expand on that in the future. Thank you. Okay. Our city attorney report.
No report at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Old business, the marina lease update. I think you covered some of that, Mr. City Manager.
Somewhat, yes, sir. We did a resolution earlier. That's something that the state needed for its package to provide to the governing cabinet for preparation for the meeting in July. There were some revisions that we had made. We had discussed some of those revisions, and we're tracking down what those revisions were. They were never forwarded to the state when you made those revisions, and so we got to review what those revisions were. Just going to check the minutes and provide that to the state so they can add it to the lease. And then your final discussion that the commission was having was the actual deposit. As you are aware, the last legal firm suggested that it should be revised, but the commission never made a decision on that. Within the next 48 hours, they're going to close this package and it'll be prepared for the governor and cabinet. So if there are any remaining revisions you want to make in that regard, you would need to make that decision this evening.
I was thinking that we was gonna receive some sort of recommendation from staff, but I don't think we received that, and I don't know if the commission at this point want to entertain a motion to increase the deposit or leave it as is. This is our last and final opportunity. We're just going to be moving forward if we don't hear some type of recommendation or request.
What was the as-is deposit, man? What was that deposit?
Did you research and
I
find
think the current one is 20,000 deposit. I think that's the current deposit now. I didn't want to put a dollar amount on this. That was a decision that the commission was pondering as a collective group, and and to give us a recommendation. I truly don't know what a real-time deposit should be. So we were like leaning to make, for this group to tell us what it should be based on how you feel as a collective group. Okay, we can throw out a number out there, but I don't think we would be, you know, accurate in doing that. So.
Yeah,
I know
really,
the former attorney had some numbers,
Yeah.
you know, and he provided those.
I think at this point now, we're in the ninth inning, 3 outs, well, 2 outs, 2 strikes. I mean, it would've been nice if we had at least entertained or discussed it, but at this point, I could be mute at this point, but I can't speak for everyone, so if no one have any.
Well, at the last commission meeting, Mayor, I had made my recommendation, and then everybody else couldn't give a number, so I guess we'll entertain whatever else say, and then we just vote on whatever comes up. So it's left up to you and Commissioner Bolden on what y'all, numbers that y'all put out there. We have, Mr. Lambert.
Mrs. Lambert.
You gotta come. Mr. Lambert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, commissioners. I'd like to state that, in my opinion, we've already agreed upon this. This was a number that Gary had previously agreed. I think it's a little late in the game to be changing the game. And as you probably know, I've certainly deposited well over $100,000 already in improvements out of my own pocket to your marina facility. So I think that what we'd already agreed on should stand, and I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Hearing no motion.
So what was the agreement, Mr. Lamb, what was the agreement Gary had said, 20,000?
Yes.
Because I now, don't shoot the messenger, I know at the last commission, meeting when he was here, his suggestion was, if they probably pulled the record, that it should be increased from 20,000. That was Mr. Lambert, Mr. Brandenburg's suggestion. So my suggestion was 30,000. I don't know what the other commissioners or mayor would say, but it's up to them, up to the majority.
I mean, Mayor, if there's no new recommendations or motion,
We'll leave it as it-
it will remain as is, and I'll be having a discussion with Division of State Lands in the morning, indicating that all final revisions are final, and they'll close this package and they'll prepare it.
There is only, I guess, one other issue, Mr. Mayor. I think that there were that wasn't the only thing, right? Wasn't there something else that had come up?
There were small things like maintenance, lawn care, and those were the things I was looking for that we had already figured out, but they had not received those revisions that we had already agreed upon. So I have to go back and pull those out of the minutes and provide, but they were very minimal, nothing significant like the deposit.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on. There was no formal
So you need to make a motion then to go ahead and accept it as is and vote, but you don't have to make a motion on that? So it just remain as is?
No, you've already made a decision on the other revisions already. So you don't have to make another motion. I just wanted to ensure you that that was your last conversation and you didn't finish it.
All right.
So I'm good.
All right, we'll now move, we don't have any new business. We'll move to citizen comments and general concerns. Madam Clerk, at this time, we will have any citizen comment card completed.
Yes, sir. The first one is from Miss Annie Core.
Ms. Core, if you would, come to the mic.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mayor Babb and Vice Mayor Mervin and, well, Chandler and Bolton. I stand before you to tell you the last meeting I came here to be here at the meeting. I goes outside and I get bullied on what I said. And you guys are icing why it's not a lot of people here. Probably that is what happening to them. When they leave out of here and go outside, they get bullied and be talked down to. But at the same thing, like I said, and I told him, it'll take more than that to stop me from coming to a meeting, because I pay tax and I have the right to speak on things I want to speak about. And it ain't all about him, it's about me and the city. And another thing that I want to ask the city manager. I see at the last meeting you said that you had a city engineer. Who is it? Who is that? And a project manager. Who is that?
Who is our city engineer on projects? It's AE Engineering. They oversee all of our projects, like our Barfield Highway project that's coming up. That's the engineer on record for that project. They were the engineers on phase 2 for phase 1 for the marina. They oversaw our demolition project as well. And so any projects that are coming in the future is AE Engineering. I can give you their contact information if you want it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I was looking at too, at the last meeting that you guys had, I don't think that it was posted because I didn't see it anywhere because I was going to come. And I didn't see it on the board about y'all, about the last meeting that you guys had. I guess it was a call meeting or what have you. I didn't know nothing about that meeting. But anyway, I saw where it said that you had $990,000.
That's phase 2 project that just started at the marina.
A grant,
Yes, ma'am.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't need to use nothing but 845? That what you said? You said that's all you guys would need?
No, ma'am, that's the bid that came in that won the award.
Won the award?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was trying to figure that one out because what I was finna say was about the soccer, you know, because you was talking about the soccer thing. And what I was finna say that you could utilize the money that is left from that to help you out with that program.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. The grant is specified for that project. But we're going to be okay with what we're doing with the soccer field as far as having some available funds, I can assure you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Excuse
ma'am.
me, Ms. Annie, could I ask you a question? Last commission meeting, you asked a question, or the one you were here. Did you get your answer?
No, I didn't. I didn't get it, but I didn't get it because I wanted to know, you know, I wanted to know whether or not was the ex-lawyer that was here. I wanted to know, was he let go because he used Emilio? What was up? Because at my regulation, I remember the city manager using Emilio for a lot of things. And if he was let go because of that, I feel like it should be equal. That's what I feel. If he was let go because he used Emilio, I feel like it's supposed to go for the gander, go for the goose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I want to just make a comment here if I can. I think that a lot of times the citizens are getting up here and asking questions, and then it's like Miss Annie said, she comes back a couple of weeks later, she still hasn't gotten an answer. So I would like to make a motion that we move these questions when they can't be answered here, and I understand that a lot of them can't, but we move them to old business. And then in 2 weeks, when it comes back, that they can get their answers, and the answers can be given in a public meeting so that everybody can hear the answer that was asked. So that's my motion.
Well, before we do that, the question that she asked, and I don't want to get into this conversation because I'm trying to move forward. The question she asked, I didn't have the answers because
Right,
I didn't vote on that conversation. So that she asked a question that didn't derive an answer coming from City Hall.
I understand.
So, and what we try to do is if someone comes in for comments, and there are comments, it's not for us to answer, we try to get back to that person within 24, 48 hours. 99% of the times when someone come in here and asks a question, I can't give them the answer. If it's an operational question, I got to go back to staff because I don't want to misquote myself. So, and when I do get that answer, they get that answer probably within 24 to 48 hours. We don't wait 2 weeks to give it to them because I don't think that's ever happened. And so we don't practice that. So I don't want us to now recreate the wheel on something that's already happening. So, but for that specific question she had, that wasn't a city hall response. And I think Ms. Core realized that wasn't a city hall response. That was a commission response.
Yeah. And two, if you look at other commission, and I know we're a little different from everybody else, but from the county on down, they normally don't get an answer at those commission meetings. I think it should be a courtesy of an elected official to get back with a constituent with an answer if they have one, but to be obligated to answer every single question that comes before us. This what the meeting would turn out to be, an answer and question session, which we got to find a better way to address a person concern than the list every question that was asked and expect the answer at the very next meeting. Those are individual, this particular one is an individual question. She's asking commission, what was your justification for terminating the city attorney?
I understand, but what I'm being told is that a lot of people are telling me that they come in, they take their time and their effort to come to the meeting and to be a part of the meeting and to wait till the end so they can ask their question, and then they don't get an answer, which I understand and I'm okay with, but then they never get an answer. And so when they never get an answer, then it just goes on and kind of festers in the community. So I was just trying to figure out a way that we can answer the questions that the people are asking if they take their time and effort to come here and sit for 2 hours while we go through everything so they can ask a question. It would seem like they should be entitled to an answer. And even, I don't know about anybody else, but if I had to wait 2 weeks and I got the answer, I'd be okay with that.
Mayor, and that's not something we practice. If someone asked a question and it took them 2 weeks to get an answer, I'd like to know who they are, because that's something we just don't practice that. And we can't drag in every question here doing official business. That's not the venue for it. That's not what your charter says and the rules on this agenda. So, I mean, you're welcome to do what you want, but we try our best to answer every question. If not here, then thereafter within 24 to 48 hours. Because every question, and we get some pretty interesting questions sometimes that takes, some moments to actually think about and come back with an answer. But, I try my best to answer every question. And sometimes the questions that are answered or get answered is not the answer that people want. And so they are sometimes say, well, I didn't get the answer I want. You got an answer, but it wasn't the one you were accepting. But we do our best to answer all our questions between 24 and 48 hours that come out of this meeting. And I've had very few people, if at all, that have came in here for a meeting, asked a question, I didn't know it, and I didn't get back to them within 24 to 48 hours. I haven't come across those folks that said, Mr. Williamson didn't call me back in 24 to 48 hours, and I didn't get an answer. Now, if you're getting those, and they're calling you specifically, send them to me so I can follow up and make sure they get an answer. Let's not wait, like you say, 2 weeks to come in here. Give them to me immediately. Maybe I'll miss one.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may, there are some legal implications. I think if you put that in writing, there could be some things that have legal implications that the city will be admitting to, or whatever. I think you put yourself in a position that could be compromising. But having said that, one of the things that the commission, I mentioned in a previous meeting that I would like to bring back, rules of procedure that you may consider, and one of the things to address the comment about people waiting for the entire meeting before speaking is you may have public comment in the beginning of the meeting, and that's what I think most cities do. And then that way, people, if they wanted to voice something, they wouldn't have to stay, you know, for the whole meeting. They can just let you know, these are my issues, and they can also have public comment before you vote on issues, which will allow the commission to have input from the citizens about resolutions that may be on the commission agenda.
Well, part of the citizen comment agenda item only is intended
I
for
see.
that, so we
Okay.
can hear their concern prior
I
to
see.
even discussing it.
I understand now. Well, what you may consider is just having everything and not limit it to agenda items. Just have people come up and they say whatever they want to on the 2-minute mic, and then you hear it, and then that will prevent you from having a whole separate meeting at the end of your meeting to discuss things that you didn't anticipate.
And also, Mayor, if I can add, Ms. Core, if I'm not mistaken, all of our commissioners live within the same radius in Pahokee, that you don't have to wait to commission meeting to ask those questions. You see, I get asked questions all the time in the grocery store or wherever, just out. If you see your commission, whatever you want to ask a question, because sometimes I don't think some of the questions has to wait 2 weeks. If you want to know answer, if they have it, they can give you their answer, because I really don't believe just up here all night long. Anyway, like, you know, like, we have one-on-ones, anything you want to know, we can always go get that answer and bring the answer right back to you. We don't have to wait till commission meeting to do that.
Y'all understand what you're saying, Commissioner, but still just like.
Come up here, Ms. Corrigan, they can't take you when you're on,
I understand what you're saying, Commissioner Mervin, but still and yet, I had asked, and just like Miss Regina said, I didn't get an answer from that. But just like you said, I see you guys, but I didn't want to ask you guys. I wanted to come up here, and I wanted to let it be stated that what had happened, it wasn't right. That's what I wanted to be stated. The same way you stated, y'all stated for the attorney to not talk, I wanted to state that that wasn't right, the way he did. Because like I said, the same person used Emilio for to tear down the Friendly Cafe. The same person used Emilio for to pick up debris when the storm came. The same person used Emilio for to tear down the place that behind the chamber. Now, if that was the problem, because you said, why would you use somebody that is suing you guys? Well, the city manager used it during that time, and then y'all turn around and y'all let him go. That's what I want to know. See, but I never got an answer.
We're not gonna, well, one thing, Mr. Silver, I'm not gonna back on that, but let me make that correction that she just made. That wasn't I said that, I think that was Commissioner Everett, so I do wanna make that correction. So when they make that correction, and also, if you really wanna know, this up here is not a place to discuss everything, as you heard what the city attorney says, there could be all kinds of things, so if you want to talk to me after, I'm be glad to talk to you.
Okay, thank you. City Clerk, are there any additional comments, Carl?
Yes.
I had a motion on the floor.
I'm sorry, what was your motion?
Yeah, I had a motion, right?
I didn't hear, state your motion. if you
My
wanna make
motion was that we do the 2 weeks and get them an answer.
Okay. It's probably died for like a
And move it
sec-
to old
okay.
business if they don't have an answer.
Okay, there have been a motion on the floor to give citizen an answer, if not here at the current commission meeting within 2 weeks. Are there a second to that?
No, the motion is to move it to old business so that we can discuss it.
To move to old
Yes, sir.
business
Thank
so
you.
we can discuss it. Are there a second to Ms. Boland motion, Commissioner Boland motion? There's a like of a second, Commissioner Boland. Thank you. Any additional comments,
Yes,
Clerk?
sir, we have 5 more remaining. The next one is from Miss Kelly. Miss Velma Kelly?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yes, I missed Bible study. We missed Bible study. But we'll talk about Sarah later. But anyway, I come from a concerned citizen, resident, about these dump trucks, 18-wheelers on McClure Road. And, you know, the road already terrible. And as a used to be bus driver, called retired. When you turn down off that hill, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous because you know it's a deep edge right there, and we need something to put there. And at night, it's really dangerous because you can't see. You can't see. And then you got cars now pull all the way up here, and you got to wait till them cars, you know, go, because you don't want to go too far over, because you know you're going to fall. And then, like, last week woke me up because we had these dump trucks rolling like they was on 95. And every time they roll, my house shake. I mean, I got so my house shake real bad. My water and I started running slow. I don't know if it's a pipe and I bust up underneath of the roll or whatever, but my water is running real slow in my house. And I called the city. I talked to Mr. Sandra, and he told me that he was aware that the 18-wheelers was running. And I say, no, the 18-wheelers ran last week before last. These dump trucks running now. And he said that, but they were working by the tree farm. I said, yeah, but you can go around by the dump. And they coming from Belgrade, because I seen them. And they can go down Hooker Highway and come up, you know, 715 way in the Pahokee on that road back there. But they running up and down this highway like nobody live out here, you know. And we got little kids running across the road, you know, school out. And, you know, kids running and stuff. And then I was fit to turn in my yard, one blow for me to move out the way. A dump truck. And we really need some help out there to slow these cars down, these buses down, and these trucks.
Mayor, I can pass this information on to PBSO for as the speeding is concerned. I do know, unfortunately, McClure is connected to the farming industry back there on the southern side. I also was aware that there was one particular farmer that was wrapping up his activities there, and he had several trucks and semis parked right there at the corner of McClure Road and in South Lake. I know they wrapped up those activities. I'm not saying that was why there was an excess of ramped up dump trucks going through there, because FDOT has, or they've already sent us the email on where they're positioning the new truck route signs. And they're on 715, coming out of Belgrade, going into Belgrade, Canal Point, State Market Road at the railroad tracks. Those signs are not in place yet. I think she's referencing the agriculture trucks that are working out of the fields. You're not referencing dump trucks that are coming off 715, taking the back way and then connecting to South Lake. You're talking about the agriculture trucks.
They come in from South Lake, turning down McClure Road, and going to the tree farm.
To the tree farm.
But when they can go around by the dump way, they don't have to come that way.
But are they those big heavy dump trucks that you see like going around?
Yes, big heavy dump trucks. And sometimes they have loads and stuff, you know.
Do our ordinance
There's no trout,
prevent
not there.
someone who's doing business in the city
Not there.
to restrict their routing?
Not on McClure Road. You never had that ordinance in place. Zoning, Cleo Road. It's never been there. And it's probably never been there because they live around farming activity. So there's no way for those trucks to.
Do farmers use dump trucks?
Yeah, yeah, they use the long bed dump trucks and others, but that's why I was wanting to get a specific, and I'm referred over to PBSO for they can sort of do some review of what trucks are coming in and going out of that area. But they do use dump trucks, but, you know, this appears to be, you know, something a little different than farming. So if we have some transportation trucks that are, you know, cheating the route, then we need to take a look at that. But I doubt it because they're going to the tree farm, as she said. So these are agriculture dump trucks that are operating out there. Again, it's unfortunate that's the only route to the tree farm outside of if you go down South Lake, make a left on South 15 and come up, you know, on that street. But they're coming from Belglade on the southern end of 441. So they're naturally just going to McClure Road and not taking the extra drive around. If you do that, then the folks on that other side of town are going to say they're getting the you know, the increased traffic, and you've heard the folks from Bacon Point Road come in here and say that. So I know it's the end of the season right now, and I don't know exactly what's being farmed now in that area. I'd have to ask some of the farmers like Mr. Pope and others who do farm over there, or what's going to be happening over the next 6 months before sugarcane picks up again. But for those, for the speeding, we can address that for sure through our law enforcement PBSO. The other activities, we would have to see exactly what's going on with the farming in that area right now. I was told last week that they were wrapping up their last bit of things that they had to take care of in those areas for us. I think Pope Farms was concerned. He actually called me and told me that they would have some additional trucks just parked there at McClure and South Lake, and he did. And then eventually, 24, 48 hours later, they were gone. So that could have been the excess activity that you were experiencing as far as the trucks coming in and out.
They wasn't gone right then. They did it 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they was up and down the road, but like I say, it's another dirt road that they can go round.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to come down that road, because it's always a road to go round.
Correct. And until
I went that way to see, could they
Right.
come that way? And it's right by, they come right out by the dump.
Right. And until this commission can review that and make some changes in town operations for those type of trucks, it'll continue to be their access to those farming fields and tree farms and sugarcane and corn in that area. That's probably,
Yeah,
and that's the main reason why McClure Road is dilapidated as well,
We're
because
talking about
the heavy trucks use it so extensively.
totally reconstructing that road. We're gonna have to make a truck route on that old dirt road. That's something we're gonna have to address.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's something we're
Yeah.
gonna definitely need to look at and try to solve, because we're getting ready to spend about 4.5 million to totally reconstruct McClure Road.
Barfield.
Barfield
Right.
Road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but McClure is one, too. that's
yeah,
gonna be on
we've
the
submitted
radar.
for 3.4 million for McClure Road. And so if we get funded for that project, yes, you're correct. We would have to make some critical decisions about moving forward once that road is repaired.
Yeah.
What type of vehicles will be allowed? And you would have to look at all of the activity and take into consideration that this is farming country. And we would have to look at some alternative routes when that conversation comes.
But just please get us some, slow down. Get
Okay.
us some polices out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
In addition to cars.
Yes, sir. The next one is from Mr. Herbert Crawford.
Good evening. Herbert Crawford, 8833 Eldorado Drive. Question, I received several calls in regards to this year's Bike to School Bash. We sent out literature through the schools that the bash would be the 27th of June. And, I mean,
No.
July, I'm sorry, July 27th, July 27th.
No, ours is always August. It's always August.
Well, because of school starting, the county and they sent out the information that the Bike to School Bash was July 27th. Because school starts earlier this go around. So we received calls.
Actually, you have multiple cities doing their own back-to-school bash date. That's like a threshold of where they want to do it, but ours is already scheduled for August 10th, just like Belgrade's is scheduled for, I think, August 3rd. South Bay's is, I think, August 10th as well. Ours is August 10th. And-
Teachers report back to school on the 5th.
Right, but school doesn't start to that week later. Right.
True.
Right.
But anyway, the conversation, the call I got from the county regards to, I guess, the way we've been, I guess, with the collaboration with the county and different agencies on the back to school bash. Now that they were trying to keep everything, I guess, unified throughout the counties and whatnot with the back to school bash. But at this point now, I guess, I don't know, we've set a date, you were saying August
Yeah.
10th?
We've always had that date set, August 10th.
And location, because that was so.
Same location.
At the school,
Pahokee gym, high school gym.
on the 10th?
August
Okay.
10th, at
Okay.
Pahokee Middle
Yeah.
High School.
Because I know there was conversation about the 10th. I know they're saying that because of the 10th and it's getting ready for school, that would be,
The city hasn't had any conversation with anyone on that, so I don't know what conversations you've heard, but that's our date. If anything changes, I'll update the commission.
okay, so the 10th at the high school.
Yep. If it changes, I know there are some conversations of logistics for the high school. That's an ongoing conversation, but the date hasn't changed or the location. As of now, hasn't changed.
Okay, so with the county, so, all right, I guess.
Who's having it in July?
Well, that's the county, OCR, Houston State Office and whatnot.
That's actually the starting date for back to school bashes, but it's not the date for everybody. And it's always been like that they have a starting date for back to school bashes, but you don't have to do your back to school bash.
No, you
on
don't
that
have to
date.
do it, but that was, I guess the county was trying to keep everything unified. So what was happening in the past prior to us unifying, Belgrade would have one this day, South Bay would have one, and the same people was going around to all the different events. So they were trying to bring everything into one, saying, so everybody was on the same page. so
But
to
that's
speak.
why we do registrations and we prevent that. And those things are collaborated with all the schools when we do that. We've never had an issue with, parents coming from one back to school bash coming to another one. We've always did pre-registrations.
Prior to, we had that issue.
Prior to, yeah,
and
but
that's
we-
why, and then the last couple of years, well, 3 or 4 years now, we unified to do away with that. So right now, I know I was called to a meeting today, so now the school's now looking to do it at West Tech, and my concern was, so now it's separating what we was doing that we worked to get put in place, so everything was as one. So now, the district and the school and the county looking now to do one at West Tech on the 27th, to do it.
Everybody?
Well, I guess the schools, whatever, so that's the thing, is right now, it's because of the dates and whatnot changes, so my concern was, if the 27 or whatever, the powers to be can work and not get caught out doing 2 separate events or whatnot. So that was just one of the concerns in the meeting today we had, and so I was bringing it to the commission and to,
the city of Pahokee is fine with August 10th. We're good.
All right.
Yeah. Our event is just fine. We're good.
City Clerk, are there additional comments, card?
Yes, sir. Ms. Mary Dibra?
Good evening, Mary Darbrow, 7 Lakeside Circle. I was a little confused on the explanation that Mr. Williamson gave on East Main Street. It's East Main Street. You and I had talked about the sign could go at the corner of the chamber, which is city property. So why would that be any different than North Main Street? We talked about the second sign that you had promised, and that you even said at the unveiling of the sign on the north end that there was going to be one on the south end.
Eventually.
And you said you didn't know where to put it, and I said, well, what about the corner at the chamber because that's city property. Why would that be a problem?
I didn't say it was a problem, but, you know, we're looking at.
You said
know,
you would have zoning problems and all that
No,
tonight.
I didn't say we have zoning problems. I said building, planning, and zoning hasn't got back with me on exactly where it should go in that area. And beyond that, if we're looking at economic development, yes, Commissioner Boland, not to say this, but that building probably will not be there in the coming years because we're going to end up selling all that property for economic development. So we want to, you know, do this the right way and carefully when we make that decision of where that sign should go. It's just, it's a very peculiar area, you know, beginning of East Main to put a sign up. We just don't know exactly where it's going to go. You can't go across the street because it's private property, and that's up for economic
Right.
development as well.
But you had
And-
agreed with
No,
me
I
that
didn't, I
that
didn't
was
agree
a
to
good.
anything because I haven't talked to the family of Mel Tillis yet about the second sign, and I still haven't talked to them. And once I have a conversation with them, I'll get some more clarity. Who, by the way, didn't make a request for a second sign. That's something that we were going to do. So it's just, it's one of those things where we'd like to do a second sign, but we have to think about the future of that corner as well and what's going to be there and how that is going to look eventually, you know, in another year or so. And so that's something that we have to take into account before we erect another sign. That's all I'm saying.
So how long are you talking about?
I can't give you a timeline tonight.
Even if it's on that corner, it would have to be a smaller sign,
Right.
correct? Because it's a very small
Right.
area.
Well, no, I understand.
I'm
It-
picturing in my mind where you talk on the corner where
on
the
that,
hedge is.
where
at.
the hedge is, I understand it would have to be a smaller sign, but when you're coming from the south and you come around past Town Center Cafe and you come around, you would see it. It'd be facing you. Right there on that corner.
From this way, okay.
Yeah, when you're coming from,
I got it.
um,
From the bankway, we come from,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. City.
But I do think that, I know we did talk about it, it is in the minutes. I think we need to go ahead on and try to get the, even the smaller, and one, go ahead on and just, and rectify that sign to be done.
I agree.
The next one is from Mr. Kareem Murray. I don't think he's here. And
Think he's
then
gone.
the last one is from Mr. Carl Morrison Senior.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, you're right.
First, I would like to say thank you for coming up with a date to hold yourself accountable for town hall meetings every quarter. I have a question in reference to the resolution that was added tonight, Resolution 2019-30. If I can get some clarity on that, because that was in reference to a meeting that was held on January the 8th, 2019, dealing with the property at 1501 Rams Road. If I can get some clarity on that, please. Because when it was in the meeting, it was stated that that property, when it was going to the governor and the cabinet, was in reference to housing. Tonight, I heard another word added onto that, and Ms. Bolden, you caught that, and you asked that question, so I'd like some clarity, please. I guess I'm talking to the lights.
From the,
Read the resolution, I
Clarity
want
on
some
the resolution.
clarity.
You want the resolution explained again?
Yes.
Maybe you want to address the resolution again?
Listen.
was,
For public
yeah,
comment?
Okay. The item was on, the state basically asked for as additional information for there to be, when the easement, when the city, before the issue goes forward, the state wanted to find out, and make sure that it was housing was a part of the comprehensive plan. And so that they wanted to make sure that the city mentions in its comprehensive plan that housing was contemplated, like wanting to have housing is contemplated. And so they asked for, in addition to, asking for the release of the deed restriction for the property described, they also wanted the city to acknowledge that housing was contemplated in its plan. And so the manager spoke with the state. He showed them, what was contemplated in terms of the resolution. The state agreed that this is what we wanted to see, and so it had to be brought before the commission, and they wanted to see it in a resolution format. And so it's not anything tricky or,
No.
anything
Listen.
mysterious. It's just adding. So he explained earlier that the economic development piece was just, he sees it as also spurring economic development. But housing was all the state was concerned with, so that's all we put in there because that's what was the state asked for.
Okay, that's what the orders was done on, housing. It wasn't anything else added on that, sir. Now, if that's your decision, it was not their decision.
So all the resolution is what matters, so his backup is less important. What matters is that we put in there housing, and that's what the state wanted to see. So you can really just ignore,
No. I go by
Okay.
documentation.
So, but that's what passed was the resolution referencing the housing component that the state wants to see. That's all. So it's not anything, that's why I'm saying it's not anything complicated. It's what was put in there. Whatever he interpreted is actually, he interprets it as being for spurring economic development and all of that, but the state asked for housing to be addressed. So there's really nothing else that I know even to tell you. It's just, we put it in the resolution. That's what the state wants. It passed by the commission, and that's it.
Well, I just want to document what was stated and what was the agreement, okay? And everyone can go back to that meeting, January the 8th of 2019, and forward it to 2 hours and 54 minutes and see what was stated. Because I won't get into that. If I have to do something else, I will, but I want to make sure it's documented what was stated.
Any additional comments?
No,
City
sir.
Attorney, City Clerk, thank you. We'll move now briefly to the comments, concerns of the City Commission, and I'll start with Commissioner Bolden.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming out. I have a couple of questions. Who actually, this is for the city manager, who actually cleaned up the leftover stuff at the hospital, and was there a cost for that?
Who cleaned up? Excuse me, cleaned up what again?
Yeah, who cleaned up that mess that got left over at the old hospital? I saw some workers over there, and they were with grapple trucks and stuff, and they cleaned up the stuff that was just sitting there. And was there a cost for that?
I'm sure it was. I think that company was, Mulo out of Belgrade.
And what was the cost?
Couldn't tell you tonight. I have to go into staff and get that answer back. But I'm pretty sure it was Mulo. That was the company that came and helped remove that remaining debris outside. But I'd have to get a definitive answer for the cost to you.
Okay. And did we decide, are we going to have a July meeting? Are we going to do a budget meeting?
Our budget meetings will be announced probably between now and the end of next week. Once the finance department finishes all of their interdepartmental meetings with directors for budgets for departments, then we'll announce our schedule for our budget meetings, for one for July, one for August, and of course the final approval in September.
Okay. And has the request for the city attorney been advertised, and if so, where?
No, we just wrapped up an RLI development. That's a proposal for services, and it should be going out within the next several days once we get it all formalized up. Again, we wanted to get the city attorney in place, and then we started working on an advertising document to be put out to the public. So hopefully in the next several days, probably not by the end of this week, it'll go out probably sometime next week.
Okay, and does that count in our 90 days?
No, it counts once because you have to put a date on it. It counts per the date on that document. You can't backdate it. You can't do a proposal like that publicly. It has to be that date that it goes out and when it closes.
So then it would be 90 days from that date.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're saying it'll be like next Monday? Because you
I would have
gave
to-
me an answer before, and you said that it was going to be within about 7 days, and that was last Monday, so that's why I'm asking. I just want to nail it down
Yeah,
when it's actually going to get done.
It's going to get done. It takes a while to formulate an RLI, i.e. proposal of this type to go out. We've never done it before for legal services, so it's something quite starkly different that I have to go rely on legal, expertise to give me that information, because it's not like a typical RFP that we do for projects. It's completely different professional services, and there was no template, meaning it was never done here before for the prior. So we had to go figure out what that language should look like for advertisement. So it took a little longer than expected.
Okay, so Monday. Okay. And then you were talking earlier, you said we're going to convert a field at MLK for soccer, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Shouldn't we have some kind of community input on that? I mean, we did this football field out here apparently, and people are saying we didn't have any community input, so I think it would be nice if we had a couple of workshops or something where people could come and say, yes, this is a great idea, no, this is a horrible idea, and give some community input on that. So do I need a form of a motion to have some community input on
I
that?
don't think we need a workshop on preparing a soccer field. It's a great location. We did our due diligence in ensuring that this location is perfect for soccer. I don't think we need a workshop
I
on
understand, but I don't
soccer
play
field.
and you don't play, so shouldn't we
Actually,
ask the people who actually
Actually, I
play?
have played soccer in my former life in
Yeah, so did I,
athletics.
but I don't play anymore.
Then trust the staff that we know what we're doing, please.
And then you said there's landscaping and foundation revisions. Oh, my big question is if we move them
Foundation
to,
revisions means the grass there is thicker than usual for playing soccer.
right,
You have to cut that grass down to a minimal to where you can play on it. I see somebody in the audience nodding because he knows what I'm talking about. And once that grass is at a certain length, then we can maintain it.
right.
There are certain areas of the field that sort of dip a little bit. So we're going to shore those areas up by bringing in a special type of sand and planting new grass seeds to ensure it's smooth.
So we're not gonna like laser level it or anything like that? Is that what you're saying?
No, ma'am, not right now.
Okay. And then my big question is, how are they gonna play at night? Are there lights down there?
We're not planning to put lights out there. There won't be any night play at nights.
Didn't they play at night over here?
When it was a regular just grass football field, they played up till about 8 o'clock until the lights went off. Yeah. And we, encountered some additional issues with that as well at night. So again, this is a perfect field for soccer play. And we think once we are finished with it, the community and those soccer players will be pleased.
But in a couple of months, we're gonna be at where they change the time back, and then it's gonna get dark around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
So
that's
then
about
there
right.
won't be any night play at all.
No, it won't be any night play at all. Subsequently, I had an opportunity to look at a lot of soccer fields in Palm Beach County. Very few of them have lights at night. I live right beside one, and the ones that do have, they're more the professional ones like high schools, but there are more soccer fields that close at 8 p.m. with no lights than there are with lights.
Yeah.
And so we can't
I
start
beg to
adding
differ. I
on
used to play
costs
soccer all
because
over Broward County, and we had lights. So,
we're working on a soccer field, Commissioner Boland, and I think everyone will be pleased.
all right. And why did we not get financial reports in our package tonight? You said, you mentioned something earlier, you had them, but
Yeah, they're right here. I didn't have a chance to put them in each packet, and then some of the commissioners didn't come in, but they're right here. And then we didn't have our director of finance here, but I brought them with me because I want to make sure you get them.
okay, do those include the credit card expenses?
No, it can. It's the overall expenses for the city of Pahokee. So our budget actuals for general fund, budget actuals for debt services fund, budget actuals for capital projects fund, budget actuals to Marino campground fund, budget actuals to cemetery fund, and just our general spending. If you want me to pull that out and give that to you, I can give you an entire bill, just the credit cards. That's not a problem, but it's not in here. It doesn't say credit card on the financial report.
Right, but I'm asking, can we get a copy
I can get
of
you a
the
copy.
credit card expenses monthly?
Not a problem.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we approve those financials and credit card expenses monthly before anything gets paid.
Wait a minute. What do you mean before anything gets paid?
Before the credit card,
You can't-
is it on automatic pay?
Commissioner Boland, you can't make a motion like that for day-to-day services that you want to look at the credit card before anything gets paid, because that's an ongoing expenditure. Not like we pulling out the credit card, using it all the time, but we do day-to-day business. Sometimes we need a credit card to order a product for Parts and Recs, or an office supply product that instead of doing a check, you do the credit card. Still budgeted. There's no extra money that we're spending out of our budget, but you can't tell us to bring you the statements or bring you an order before we make a purchase. You just can't do that in day-to-day operations.
I didn't say before you made a purchase, I said before it gets paid, the bill.
You can't do that either, because our credit cards are on a cycle of payment that is automatically generated from finance. You can't hold that payment up.
Is that true, Attorney?
Mr. Manager, the commissioner made a motion, there was no second, and so that issue is dead at this point.
So then I'd like to ask you, Attorney, is that true that we cannot look at the credit card bills and approve them before they get paid?
I think it would be tedious for your city operations. I'm not saying you can't do it.
That's,
I'm
yeah,
just
I didn't
saying-
ask if it was
I'm-
tedious,
right.
I asked if we could do it.
I don't think it's practical, but you could probably do it, yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, but haven't you in the past asked to see the credit card bills monthly? And then haven't you asked to see the financial reports monthly?
That's a little different than wanting to see what we're about to pay that we need to pay. That's being generated automatically through, our pay services. That's different, because I get the point of financial reports. We understand that, and you're getting that. It's right here. But we cannot hold up our automatic credit card payments, which is already budgeted per line items in departments, for you can see it, because then we'll be late paying it. Can't do that.
Commissioner Bo, what you can do in your motion is just have as a directed policy that the financial, the credit card statements expenses will be part of the monthly financial report.
Okay.
Not that you're saying that the bills would now have to be held up until we get it, but we need
But
to
we,
ensure
but
that we
we'd
can
be
at
actually
least
be able to
physically
see
yeah.
the statement.
That-
Okay.
that-
I amend the motion then so that we can have the credit card statement? Is that the credit card statement as a part of the financials that are supplied to us monthly?
I'll second that motion. It's been moved by Commissioner Bolden and second by the mayor that the monthly financial reports include the credit card report on a monthly basis. Call for questions.
Don't we already have a motion, and that was already in previous?
No, it was only a suggestion by the mayor.
Let me finish. When Commissioner Walker was here, that was something that was already in place of a monthly, quarterly report of credit cards and expenditures and all of that, correct?
Yeah, I think part of her rationale is she don't feel we're getting it.
Exactly.
So we just maybe emphasizing a previous motion that we would receive monthly financial statements to include now the credit card expenditure. So just an added layer to
Okay.
make sure that we receive all the requested documents that was previously requested.
Okay.
And it's not creating any additional work, it's just a matter of including it, so we all will have it.
I can go for that. I just thought it was already, I remember Walker was,
Okay. Any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Boland,
Yes.
Mayor Bab,
Yes?
Vice Mayor Mervin.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion passed by unanimous 3-0 vote.
Okay, and then I just have one other thing. In that report that the former legal gave us, one of his things that he said that we should do is ask the IG to do a procurement procedure audit. So I make a motion that we ask the ID to come in and do a procurement procedure audit.
All right, I'll second that. I don't think that's an expense to the city to request some of it. Okay, it's been moved and properly second. And we request the,
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What's this request? What is it?
What they had in the report that the former attorney gave us.
procurement procedures.
Mr. Mayor?
Wow.
If you all would allow
That's
me to review it before you have the the Inspector General or the county come in and take a look at it, which will probably shed, some, negative light because they're coming in and doing something that maybe we don't even have a chance to review yet. If you allow me to review it, and if I have some purchasing suggestions, I'll be happy to come back and bring those suggestions in the form of an ordinance or tweak the ordinance that you have. But if we can try to do what you're seeking, if I can get a better idea about it, and I'll have a conversation maybe offline with Commissioner Boland and, figure out what her concerns are, and because I don't quite know what the recommendation involves. And before we, invite others in, if you'll allow me to just review that process and then come back if it's appropriate, I think that would probably be the better route, because I'm not sure what Mr. Brandenburg is referring to, and I'd like to at least come up to speed on what that could be, and help guide that process if there is a process that's needed for guidance.
Okay, I'll withdraw my second at this time to allow the attorney to take a look at our procurement procedures and make whatever recommendation she feels that would meet the intent of our previous attorney request.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And if that don't work, you can always bring it back up at some point in time.
Thank you.
In addition.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Mervin.
Mayor, Commission, residents, listening to this stuff tonight, and, you can laugh about it, because you got to understand where and things are going, and you can see agendas going that should not go. Okay, we have a sitting now, attorney that's sitting, okay? It's not fair you bringing up your past legal recommendations from your past legal advice. Let the city attorney that we have, let her do her job, and let her vet the papers, the ordinance, the resolutions that come before. I think she's very well qualified to do her job. let her do her job. And if we're gonna do what everything Mr. Brandenburg say, we might as well have Mr. Brandenburg still sitting there. But right now, let the attorney do her job and let her bring forth to the commission what is accurate. She's not there to bring up her thoughts, her feelings. She's up there to bring accurate information for the betterment of the city of Pahokee. Now, and let's just start working together. If we work together, I believe we can get better results. Instead of just, yeah, we can listen to our constituents out there talking and speaking, but we got to work together and see what the betterment of the whole community, of our community. But let's draw unity, because you can feel the divisionness, you can feel the divide, you can even see it in the audience, you can hear it from the residents that's asking, what are y'all doing up there? Y'all are so divided up there, they can hear it. So let's try to get on one accord for the betterment of our city. We got to be commissioners. Read your ordinances, read your resolutions, go to your one-on-ones. Some of the questions that's been asked up here, a lot of things can be asked in their one-on-ones. We have 2 weeks prior to every meeting, commission meeting, that you can walk in the door any given day. You can call any given time. A lot of questions that we hear 9 and 10 o'clock at night, we can do it a little better than that, of answering our one-on-one questions, getting some questions answered before we even come to our commission meeting. Because it's looking like we're pulling against one another instead of trying to pulling together. I think we all have a love for our community. We all want it to work. And what even our residents has to understand is that their politics doesn't work how they think it should work. We can't move how they think we could do it, because you are governed by how things are to be worked. But anytime a citizen have a question that they want to ask me, I have people to call, I will give you my answer. But no, I'm not going to sit up here and give you every answer that comes up on citizen comments. But if you want to know my concern about it, I will talk to citizens. I do that. They call me. Some even come to my house and even ask. But let's try to pull together and stop trying to put this device and this division in our community. And let's work together as a body. That's who we are. And have a good night.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.